There is a feeling, a familiar ache known to anyone who has ever truly strived for something. It is the feeling of pushing against an immovable wall. It's the silent scream into a void that doesn't answer. The exhaustion that settles deep in your bones. Not from labor, but from futility. You have made the plans. You have followed the gurus. You have hustled and ground and forced your will upon the world with all the strength you could muster. And yet, the door remains locked. The dream remains distant. The situation remains unchanged. It is the profound and disheartening realization that nothing, absolutely nothing, is working. But what if the problem was never your effort? What if the problem was the nature of the effort itself? What if the universe doesn't respond to force? What if it recoils from it, trying to bend reality to your will through sheer, desperate action is like trying to capture water by clenching your fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers, leaving you with nothing but a strained and empty hand. You have been taught to fight, to struggle, to conquer. But this is a battle that cannot be won with force. This is a misunderstanding of the fundamental laws of creation. The solution, the key that you have been searching for, is not found in doing more, but in a radical, paradoxical, and powerful form of non-doing. This is not the non-doing of apathy or surrender to defeat. It is a strategic and sacred shift, a turning away from the external battle to begin the work of internal calibration. It is the art of creating a vacuum into which the universe can rush, the science of aligning your inner state so profoundly that the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. This journey, this complete audiobook, is your guide through that process. It is a roadmap away from the wall of resistance and into the open field of allowance. We will explore the timeless laws of attraction and the forgotten messages from the universe, learning not how to impose your will upon it, but how to allow its infinite power to flow through you, effortlessly and precisely, bending not to your struggle, but to your very being. Before we can receive, we must first understand what blocks us. Before the universe can bend to your being, you must recognize the monumental structure you have built to keep it at bay. We will call it the Great Wall of Resistance. This is not a wall of external circumstances. It is not built by other people, or bad luck, or a hostile world. It is an internal structure, assembled brick by painful brick, with the mortar of your own energy. It is invisible, yet you feel its solid, unyielding presence everywhere you turn. It's the reason the promotion goes to someone else, the reason the relationship feels strained, the reason the money seems to flow away from you instead of toward you. This wall is the first and only true enemy on your journey, and its architect, its builder, and its guard is you. To dismantle it, you must first inspect its materials, and you will find it is made of three primary components: fear, attachment, and the need for control. The first brick is attachment. Desire itself is pure. It is a clean signal sent into the quantum field, a clear preference. But attachment is its shadow. Attachment is the desperate, needy, grasping energy that clings to the desire. It is the voice that whispers, "I cannot be happy until this happens. My life is incomplete without this person. I will not be safe until I have this amount of money." This is not the energy of creation. It is the energy of profound lack. When you are attached, you are not sending out a signal of confident expectation. You are sending out a scream of desperation. Imagine holding a small, beautiful bird in your hands. If you hold your hands open, offering a safe place to rest, the bird may choose to stay. But if you begin to fear, it will fly away. If you start to clench your fingers, tightening your grip to ensure it stays, the bird will feel trapped. It will struggle. It will panic. And it will use all its strength to escape your grasp. Your very effort to keep it is what drives it away. This is how the universe responds to your attachment. Your desperate neediness, your energetic clenching, repels the very thing you want to hold. It is a declaration of disbelief, a statement to the universe that you do not truly trust that this desire can be yours. And so you must force it. You must cage it. The second brick, layered thick and heavy, is fear. This is not just the obvious fear of failure, the fear of not getting what you want. It is also the subtle, insidious fear of success. What if I actually get what I want? Will I be able to handle the responsibility? Will others be jealous? What if I get it and then I lose it? That pain would be even worse than never having it at all. This subconscious fear acts as a loyal but misguided bodyguard. It wants to keep you safe. And safe means familiar. Not having the dream relationship is a familiar state. Struggling with finances is a familiar state. Not being seen in your full power is a familiar state. To achieve your desire is to step into the unknown. And the ego, the guardian of the familiar, will construct 1,000 what-if scenarios to keep you in the safety of your current reality. This fear lowers your vibration, creating a static noise that interferes with the clear signal of your desire. It is a prayer for the status quo, a powerful energetic vote to remain exactly where you are. Because at least here, you know the rules of the game. The third, and perhaps heaviest brick, is the need for control. This is the ego's ultimate delusion. It is the belief that you, with your limited perspective, know the exact how, the precise when, and the specific who that must be involved for your desire to manifest. You create a rigid, narrow pathway in your mind and demand that the universe deliver your package down this single, specific street. When a detour appears, a synchronistic opportunity that looks different from your plan, you dismiss it. When the timing stretches beyond your impatient deadline, you declare it a failure. This need to micromanage the infinite intelligence of the cosmos is the height of spiritual arrogance. It is like a single drop of water telling the entire ocean how to be a wave. This constriction of possibility, this refusal to allow for magic, surprise, and a wisdom far greater than your own, closes off all the infinite, unseen channels through which your good could come to you. You are so busy guarding the front door that you fail to notice the universe is trying to deliver your desire through the window, the back door, and even through a hole in the roof. These three materials, attachment, fear, and control, are energized by one primary action, a modern-day virtue that is, in reality, a metaphysical poison. The relentless, a frantic energy of the hustle. We have been sold a lie. The lie that burnout is a badge of honor, that exhaustion is a prerequisite for success. This culture of desperate striving, of forcing and pushing and grinding, is the very engine that builds the wall of resistance higher and higher. The energy of hustle is tense, anxious, and forceful. It is the opposite of the calm, confident, creative frequency of allowance. When you are hustling, you are implicitly telling the universe, this is hard. This won't happen unless I force it. I don't trust the process. And the universe, which is a perfect mirror, dutifully responds by saying, yes, you are right. This is hard. You must force it. The process is not to be trusted. You are literally creating the struggle you believe you are fighting against. This is not to say that action is wrong. Inspired action, which flows effortlessly from a state of alignment, is powerful and joyful. It feels less like work and more like play. But the forced, frantic action born of resistance is like revving a car's engine while it is stuck in deep mud. You are creating a lot of noise, burning a lot of fuel, and digging yourself deeper into the hole. So how do you know if you are operating from this state of resistance? Your emotional body gives you constant, clear signals. The first symptom is often procrastination. You know what you should be doing, but you feel an inexplicable paralysis. This is not laziness. It is often a form of subconscious wisdom. Your deeper self knows that taking action from a place of fear, attachment, and resistance is a waste of energy. So it puts on the brakes. The second symptom is a pervasive, low-grade anxiety. It is the hum of the ego constantly scanning for threats, trying to control outcomes, and worrying about a future that hasn't happened. This anxiety is the sound of your energetic system being out of tune. Another clear sign is the constant need for external validation. You post your goals online. You tell everyone your plans. You seek reassurance that you are on the right path. This is an admission that you do not trust your own inner compass. You are leaking your creative power, seeking confirmation from a world that is simply a reflection of your past beliefs, not your future reality. The ultimate symptom, of course, is the feeling of being utterly stuck, of pushing with all your might against that invisible, unyielding wall, seeing no progress, only deepening your own exhaustion. Imagine a vast, powerful river. This river is the flow of the universe, the current of life itself. It moves with purpose and grace toward the great ocean of fulfillment. Now, picture a swimmer in this river. The first swimmer is the striver, the resistor, convinced that the ocean lies upstream. He turns against the current and begins to fight. His movements are frantic, splashing, and desperate. He kicks and pulls with all his might, his muscles burning, his breath ragged. For every foot of progress he makes, the river pushes him back too. He sees the river as his adversary, a cruel force working against him. His entire reality is defined by the struggle. His focus narrowed to the churning water right in front of him. He is exhausted, angry, and getting nowhere. He is building the wall with every single stroke. Now, picture a second swimmer in the same river. She understands the nature of the river. She knows its power and its destination. Instead of fighting it, she does something radical. She stops kicking. She stops pulling. She takes a deep breath, leans back, and simply floats. She surrenders her struggle to the current. The river, which was a relentless enemy to the first swimmer, is now her source of power. It carries her effortlessly, guiding her around rocks and through eddies with a wisdom she could never have possessed on her own. She is not passive. She is in a state of active trust, a state of profound allowance. She can still use her arms to steer gently, to navigate. But the driving force is not her own strained muscle. It is the immense sea, inexhaustible power of the river itself. This state is called flow. It is the complete absence of resistance. It is the state where you and the universe move as one. This is the state we are seeking to find. We have now identified the wall. We have seen its bricks of fear and attachment. We have felt its mortar of control. We understand that our frantic swimming against the current only strengthens it. We see the alternative, the effortless grace of the one who floats. The question that now hangs in the air is simple, yet profound. How do we stop fighting? How do we learn to lean back and trust the river? The answer lies not in adding another technique or another struggle, but in subtraction, in emptying ourselves out to make space for the river to guide us. It lies in discovering the sacred and powerful art of emptiness, in the thunderous noise of a world that screams, do more, be more, achieve more. The most powerful and revolutionary act is to choose silence. The most strategic move is to become still. We have been taught that our value is tied to our productivity, that our worth is measured by our action. And so, the very idea of emptiness feels terrifying. It feels like failure, like defeat, like giving up. But the emptiness we are about to explore is not the desolate void of loss. It is the fertile void of creation. It is not the silence of the tomb, but the sacred silence of the womb, the space from which all life emerges. This is the art of sacred emptiness. the forgotten key to unlocking the power of the universe. Not by adding more, but by bravely, intentionally, taking away. It is the conscious decision to stop swimming against the current, to let go of the oars, and to discover the supreme power that lies in doing nothing at all. To understand this, we must first confront a fundamental law of physics and metaphysics. The principle that nature abhors a vacuum. The universe is a system that constantly seeks balance and wholeness. It cannot tolerate a true void. When a space is created, the universe will rush to fill it. This is the secret that the ancient masters understood. They knew that human beings are perpetually filled to the brim. Our minds, our hearts, our energetic fields are cluttered with the debris of past failures, future anxieties, inherited beliefs, and the deafening noise of the collective consciousness. There is simply no room for the new to enter. There is no space for the miracle. Your desired reality, your peace, your abundance, are circling you right now, like guests waiting outside a crowded house. But they cannot get in because there is no room at the inn. The art of sacred emptiness is the art of house cleaning. It is the process of creating a deliberate, pristine, energetic vacuum within yourself. When you create this vacuum, you are not giving up. You are issuing the most powerful invitation you can possibly extend to the universe. You are signaling that you are ready to receive. Think of a cup. A cup's entire purpose, its very usefulness, is defined by its emptiness. A cup that is already full of stale, muddy water cannot receive fresh, clear spring water. To receive the new, you must first pour out the old. What is this muddy water we carry? It is the frantic need to control. It is the incessant mental chatter that analyzes every angle and fears every outcome. It is the replaying of old hurts and the pre-playing of future disasters. It is the heavy energy of attachment to a specific outcome, a specific person, a specific timeline. To practice sacred emptiness is to take your cup, your very being, and pour this murky water onto the ground. It is to release your white-knuckled grip on how things should be, and to simply allow things to be. It is a declaration of trust, a statement that you believe the wisdom of the universe is greater than the anxiety of your ego. As you empty yourself of this resistance, the universe, obeying its own immutable law, begins to fill your cup. And because the space you have created is one of trust, peace, and allowance, it must fill it with experiences that match that frequency. So, how does one practice this art? In a practical way, it begins with reclaiming moments of stillness. The first and most direct method is a form of non-directed meditation. This is different from the guided visualizations where you are actively trying to manifest something. Here, the goal is to have no goal. You simply sit, close your eyes, and allow. You allow your thoughts to drift by like clouds in the sky, without judging them, without chasing them, without engaging them. You notice the sounds around you without labeling them. You feel the sensations in your body without resisting them. In the beginning, this will feel like chaos. The mind, accustomed to constant stimulation, will rebel. It will throw a tantrum of thoughts and to-do lists and worries. Your job is not to fight the tantrum, but to simply watch it, to provide a silent, loving space for it to unfold. With practice, the gaps between the thoughts will grow longer. In these gaps, you will find it, the sacred emptiness, the silence. It is in this silence that you are no longer broadcasting a signal of frantic static. You are becoming a clear and powerful receiver. A second, more modern practice is the spiritual digital detox. Our devices are designed to eliminate emptiness. Every spare second of boredom, every moment in a checkout line, every quiet pause is immediately filled with the scroll, the swipe, the click. We are constantly consuming other people's thoughts, other people's dramas, other people's energies. we are filling our cup with the muddy water of the entire world, leaving no room for our own soul to speak. To choose a digital detox, even for just a few hours, is a radical act of creating emptiness. It is to consciously refuse to fill the space. When you put the phone down and just sit with the discomfort of the silence, you are performing a profound energetic cleanse. You are allowing the noise to settle, allowing the foreign energies to dissipate, so you can once again hear the faint, true signal of your own inner being. The third practice is to immerse yourself in the great emptiness of nature. Go for a walk in the woods or by the sea with no headphones, no agenda, no destination. The purpose is not exercise. It is absorption. It is to let the vast, non-judgmental presence of nature empty you out. Listen to the intricate language of the wind in the trees. Watch the effortless flight of a bird. Feel the sheer scale of the sky above you. In the face of this immense, silent, and harmonious system, the small, frantic anxieties of the ego begin to dissolve. Nature does not hustle. A tree does not strain to grow. It simply grows. A river does not force its way to the ocean. It simply flows. By immersing yourself in this energy, you begin to remember your own natural state. A state free from the resistance you have been taught is necessary for survival. This leads us to a deeper understanding, a distinction between doing nothing and being nothing. Doing nothing is a temporary activity, a pause in the action. Being nothing is a momentary and profound identity shift. In the depths of sacred emptiness, you are not a name, a job title, a story of past hurts or future hopes. You are not a person trying to manifest abundance. You are not a soulmate seeker. All of these labels are part of the clutter in the cup. In the silent void, you shed these identities. You become, for a moment, formless. You become pure potential, pure awareness. You become nothing. And in becoming nothing, you gain the potential to become anything. This is the secret of the master potter. When she takes a lump of clay, her first action is one of creative destruction. She kneads it, and she flattens it. She empties it of its previous form and any air bubbles of resistance within. She returns it to a state of pure, formless potential. It is nothing. Only from this state of perfect nothingness can she then begin to shape it into a magnificent vase. If she tried to work with clay that was already half-formed or full of air, it would crack in the fire. We are that clay. Our frantic efforts to shape ourselves, while still full of the air bubbles of fear and resistance, cause our lives to crack under pressure. The act of entering sacred emptiness is allowing the hands of the divine potter to gently return us to our state of formless potential, so that we may be shaped into a vessel far more beautiful and grand than our ego could ever have conceived. This is the essence of the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, which is often translated as effortless action. It is action that arises not from the straining ego, but spontaneously from the void. It is the action of the river carrying you, the action of the potter shaping the surrendered clay. So when nothing is working, when all your pushing and striving and forcing has led only to exhaustion, the answer is not to push harder. The answer is to stop. The answer is to dare to become empty. Pour out the muddy water of your worries. Let go of the need to understand how. Create a space in your life, in your day, in your mind. It is in the sacred, fertile emptiness that the universe will finally have room to deliver its magic. This practice does not annihilate you. It reveals you. It strips away the noise and the costumes of the ego, so you can finally meet the one who has been silently watching all along. The calm center in the storm. In the profound stillness you have cultivated, a revolutionary discovery begins to dawn as the noise of the mind settles. You start to notice that there is the noise, and then there is the one who is aware of the noise. There are the thoughts, and then there is the silent presence that witnesses the thoughts. There are the emotions, And then there is the calm space in which the emotions rise and fall. For your entire life, you have been mistaken. You have believed yourself to be the storm, the chaotic swirl of thoughts, feelings, and circumstances. But the practice of emptiness reveals a stunning truth. You are not the storm. You are the sky. This is the moment you meet your true self. The silent, unshakable witness that resides behind your eyes and beneath your breath. This is the observer. And realizing your identity as this serene presence is the master key to unlocking yourself from the prison of suffering. The observer is the essence of pure consciousness, the timeless, formless aspect of you that has been present for every moment of your life. It is the awareness that was looking through your eyes as a small child, full of wonder. And it is the very same awareness looking through your eyes right now. Your body has changed. Your thoughts have changed. Your beliefs and emotions have shifted a million times. But the silent witness, the fundamental sense of I am, has remained constant. This observer does not judge. It does not analyze. It does not cling or resist. It simply witnesses. It is a vast, silent, open space, and everything you experience, every thought, every feeling, every sensation, is like a cloud passing through the boundless expanse of this inner sky. To this point, you have been living as if you were one of the clouds, identifying with each passing mood, getting lost in each turbulent weather pattern. When a dark cloud of sadness appeared, you said, "I am sad." When a thundercloud of anger rolled in, you said, "I am angry." You fused your entire identity with a temporary, fleeting phenomenon. This act of identification is the very mechanism of suffering. The two most powerful words you will ever speak are, "I am." Whatever you attach to those words becomes your reality. Not just in your mind, but in your energetic signature. When you declare "I am sad," you are not merely describing a feeling. You are issuing a creative decree. You are collapsing the infinite potential of your being into the limited identity of a sad person. You have taken a transient weather pattern and mistaken it for the entire sky. The sadness feels all-encompassing and permanent because you have literally wrapped your entire sense of self around it. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. A person who believes "I am anxious" will subconsciously scan the environment for things to be anxious about, proving their identity to be true over and over again. The cage of suffering is built with the grammar of identification. The liberation, then, comes from a simple but profound shift in grammar. A shift from identification to observation. Instead of "I am sad," the observer says, "I notice a feeling of sadness is present within my awareness." Instead of "I am angry," the observer says, "I can feel the energy of anger moving through my body." Can you feel the radical difference? In the first statements, you are the emotion. In the second, you are the container for the emotion. You have created space. You have moved from being the actor lost in the drama to being the audience, watching the play with a calm and curious interest. The emotion is no longer you. It is something you are experiencing. It is a cloud passing through your sky. And you know, with the deep wisdom of the sky, that all clouds, no matter how dark or stormy, eventually pass. They cannot stain you. They cannot harm you. They cannot change your fundamental nature as vast, open awareness. This is not just a philosophical concept. It is a practical tool you can use in every moment of your life. It is the technique of the sacred step back. The next time a wave of difficult emotion arises, frustration in traffic, a sting of criticism, a pang of loneliness, the first step is to do nothing. Do not react. Do not lash out. Do not suppress or numb the feeling. Simply pause. Take one conscious breath. And in your mind, take one step backward from the emotion. See it in front of you instead of inside of you. Now, become a gentle, curious scientist of your inner world. Ask it questions, not with judgment, but with a genuine desire to understand. Hello, anger. Where do you live in my body? Is it in my chest? My stomach? My fists? What is your temperature? Are you hot or cold? Do you have a color, a texture? If you could speak, what would you say? This act of non-judgmental inquiry is alchemical. It shifts your brain activity from the reactive, primitive amygdala to the thoughtful, conscious prefrontal cortex. You cannot be simultaneously lost in an emotion and curiously observing it. The act of observation is an act of liberation. Start practicing this with the small things, the minor daily irritations. Every time you successfully step back and observe a small annoyance instead of becoming it, you are strengthening your observer muscle. You are deepening your connection to your true self. The power of this practice extends far beyond mere stress relief. It begins to alter the very fabric of your reality. In the world of quantum physics, the observer effect states that the act of measuring or observing a particle changes its state. A field of pure potential collapses into a specific reality only when it is observed. Your consciousness is no different. A situation that is steeped in low vibrational energy, like a heated argument or a moment of deep anxiety, is sustained by the energy of unconscious reaction. The moment you introduce the high vibrational energy of calm, non-judgmental observation, you are introducing a new, powerful element into the field. You are not adding to the drama. You are witnessing it from a higher state. Your calm presence acts as a spiritual solvent, dissolving the structure of the negativity. You will find that when you can hold a space of pure observation for your own anger, it often dissipates more quickly. When you can witness another person's outburst without reacting, they often run out of steam, as there is no reactive energy to fuel their fire. You change the world not by wrestling with it, but by bearing witness to it from the unshakable ground of your own being. This is the great freedom taught by masters like Jiddu Krishnamurti and Ramana Maharshi. It is the realization that you are not the contents of your mind. You are the context. You are the silent, spacious awareness in which all of life unfolds. The thoughts, the emotions, the triumphs, the tragedies, they are all just clouds. Some are beautiful, some are terrifying, but you are the sky. Your peace does not depend on having a sky full of only beautiful, fluffy white clouds. Your peace comes from the profound realization that you are the sky itself, and therefore, you are inherently, unchangeably peaceful. You are the silent space that allows and outlasts every storm. From this stable, expansive foundation of the observer, you are no longer a victim tossed about by the unpredictable waves of your inner world. You are the vast and tranquil ocean beneath the waves. You have reclaimed your power by realizing it was never in the storm, but in the stillness that contains it. And now, from this place of centered being, you are finally in a position to consciously create. You can begin to choose which energies to cultivate, which frequencies to broadcast. You are ready to learn the language the universe truly understands. Not the chaotic chatter of the clouds, but the clear, resonant frequency of the sky. Having ascended to the clear, quiet vista of the observer, you are no longer tossed about by the chaotic winds of your mind. You have found the still point in the turning world. From this newfound stability, a critical question arises. If I am not my thoughts, and the universe doesn't respond to the begging and pleading of my ego, then how do I communicate my desires? How do I participate in the act of creation? The answer is that you must learn the language of the cosmos. And this language has no words, no grammar, no syntax. The universe does not speak English, or Spanish, or Mandarin. The universe speaks in the primal, undeniable, and universal language of frequency. To grasp this, you must first update your understanding of the world around you. We have been conditioned to perceive reality as a collection of solid, separate objects, You see a chair, a table, your own hand, and they all appear solid and real. But modern physics has confirmed what ancient mystics have always known. This solidity is a magnificent illusion. If you could zoom in past the cellular level, past the molecules, past the atoms themselves, you would find a buzzing, vibrating dance of subatomic particles. And if you could zoom in even further, into the very heart of matter, you would find nothing solid at all. You would find only waves, probabilities, and vibrating strings of pure energy. Everything in existence, from the furthest star to the most fleeting thought in your mind, is simply energy vibrating at a particular rate, a specific frequency. You are not a solid body moving through a solid world. You are a vibrational being living in a vibrational universe. You are a symphony of frequencies, and you are constantly broadcasting your unique song into the cosmic orchestra. The most crucial aspect of this understanding is this: your emotions are not just psychological reactions. They are physical, measurable, vibrational states of being. Every emotion you experience has a distinct frequency signature. Think of it as a great vibrational ladder, or an emotional guidance scale. At the very bottom of this ladder, you find the densest, slowest, most contracted frequencies. These are the emotions of shame, guilt, despair, and fear. When you are experiencing these emotions, your energy field literally contracts and slows down. The vibration is heavy, sticky, and low. As you move up the ladder, the frequency begins to quicken. You find anger, which has more energy than despair. You find blame, then worry, then frustration. Climbing further, you move into the states of hopefulness and optimism. The energy here is lighter, faster, more expansive, and at the very top of the ladder, you find the highest, fastest, most powerful frequencies available to a human being. The emotions of joy, appreciation, empowerment, pure love, and profound gratitude. When you feel these emotions, your energy field expands. It brightens. It vibrates at an incredible speed. It is absolutely vital to understand that this is not a scale of morality. Fear is not a bad emotion. Joy is not a good emotion. They are all simply indicators, like gauges on a dashboard. They are neutral signals telling you what frequency you are currently broadcasting. But here is the law that governs all of creation: the law of resonance. This law states that like frequencies attract like frequencies. A tuning fork vibrating at the note of C will cause another nearby tuning fork to begin vibrating at the very same note. It cannot cause it to vibrate at the note of G. This is the mechanism of universal attraction. And it is impersonal, precise, and unwavering. The universe doesn't give you what you want with your words. It gives you what you match with your frequency. This is where we uncover one of the greatest sources of failure and frustration in the art of deliberate creation. You cannot live your days broadcasting the heavy, slow frequency of disappointment, loneliness, and lack, and expect the universe to deliver an experience of joy, connection, and abundance. It is a physical impossibility. It violates the fundamental laws of energy. Imagine the universe is a massive radio tower, broadcasting every possible reality on every possible channel, all at once. There is a poverty station, a sickness station, a heartbreak station. They are always broadcasting, but right next to them, on the dial, are the abundance station, the vibrant health station, and the deep love station. You, as the conscious observer, are the radio receiver. Your emotional state is the tuner. Your frequency is the number on the dial. If you have set your dial to 88, set Despair FM. You can scream, pray, and beg all day long to hear the music playing on 105.3 Joy FM. But it will never happen. The radio can only play the station it is tuned to. The universe can only deliver to you the circumstances that are a vibrational match for the emotional state you are embodying. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This realization is the ultimate reclamation of power. Your circumstances are not random. They are a perfect reflection of your past and dominant energetic broadcasts. And if that is true, it means that, by learning to consciously manage your frequency, you can begin to consciously change your life. You become the master broadcaster, the conscious tuner of your own reality. But how do you do this when your current reality seems to give you every reason to feel bad? You do it gently. You do not try to make the quantum leap from the bottom of the emotional ladder to the top in a single bound. That jump is too great. It feels false and inauthentic, and your system will reject it. The key is to simply reach for the next rung up. The goal is to find a thought that feels just a little bit better. If you are in a state of despair, where everything feels pointless, trying to force yourself to feel joyful is impossible. But perhaps you can reach for anger. While a low frequency has far more energy and power than despair. This is not right. I deserve better than this. That is a vibrational step up. Once you are stable in anger, perhaps you can let go of who to blame and just feel the frustration of your situation. Frustration is a step up from blame. From frustration, can you find a sliver of hope? A thought like, well, maybe it's not impossible. I've seen other people figure this out. Hope is a massive leap up the scale. From hope, can you find a feeling of optimism? You know what? I think I might actually be able to do this. And from optimism, you are just a short step away from belief. And then joy. This is the gentle art of climbing the vibrational ladder. One thought, one feeling at a time. The master key that unlocks every door on this ladder is the frequency of appreciation. Appreciation is your universal remote control for changing the channel. It is the practice of deliberately placing your focus on things that feel good, no matter how small. It is a treasure hunt for positive resonance. When you wake up, before the worries of the day rush in, can you find one thing to appreciate? The comfort of your bed, the quiet of the morning, the gift of a new day. When you drink your coffee, can you appreciate its warmth, its aroma? When you are stuck in traffic, can you shift your focus from the frustration to an appreciation for the music on the radio, or for the fact that you have a car? Each tiny, genuine act of appreciation is like nudging the dial on your tuner. It is a conscious choice to broadcast a higher frequency. The more you practice, the more your default setting begins to rise. You are retraining your energetic body to reside at a higher, lighter set point. This is your new work. It is not to struggle and strive in the outer world. It is to become a guardian of your own frequency. It is to recognize that your emotional state is not a random reaction to life. It is your primary tool of creation. You are a living, breathing, broadcasting tower. And your feelings are the signal you send out to the resonant field of the universe. With every emotion, you are placing an order for more of the same. Now that you understand the language, now that you know you are the one controlling the broadcast, the power is entirely in your hands. The next step on our journey is to learn how to become truly fluent in this language. To learn how to broadcast the frequency of a reality that has not yet materialized. It is time to learn the greatest secret of all. The secret of feeling. You have arrived at the very heart of creation. The chamber where the architect of reality resides. You have learned that the universe is a field of vibration, and that your frequency is the language it understands. You have discovered your true identity as the calm, spacious observer, capable of choosing your inner state regardless of outer circumstances. Now, you stand before the final door, ready to learn the ultimate creative act, the secret that turns passive observers into conscious creators. The great 20th century mystic Neville Goddard distilled this profound truth into 3 simple, earth-shattering words. Feeling is the secret. This is the master technique. This is the alchemical process that transmutes the base metal of imagination into the pure gold of physical reality. It is the understanding that to have your desire, you must stop wanting it and start living from it. In feeling, Neville taught a radical and empowering cosmology. He proposed that creation is already finished. Every potential reality, every possible outcome, everything you could ever desire or imagine already exists as a state of consciousness within a vast, infinite field of potential. It is not our job to create our desire from scratch, for that has already been done. Our job is to simply choose the reality we wish to experience and to occupy it with our minds. To move into that state of being so completely that it becomes our new home. And the tool we use to move into these new mansions of reality is our own wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is not a frivolous faculty for idle daydreaming. It is the very creative power of God, or the universe, in action through you. When you are imagining, you are not escaping reality. You are generating a new one. When this is done with feeling and conviction, and you impress this new reality upon your subconscious mind, which is the fertile soil from which all physical manifestation grows. Once the seed is planted in that soil, the subconscious will then direct a series of events, a bridge of incidents that appear perfectly natural and normal, leading you inevitably to the physical fulfillment of your imaginal act. Your only responsibility is to successfully plant the seed. Herein lies the critical distinction that separates those who succeed from those who fail. It is the difference between the energy of wanting and the energy of having. For your entire life, you have been practicing the energy of wanting. I want more money. I want to find a partner. I want to be healthy. This wanting, this longing, this desiring, is a broadcast of a very specific frequency. The frequency of lack. The very act of wanting something intensely affirms to the universe that you do not have it. You are standing in the state of not having. Looking across a great chasm at the state of having, you are perpetuating the very separation you wish to overcome. The universe, in its perfect, impersonal mirroring, simply responds to your broadcast of not having by giving you more experiences of not having. The secret is to completely abandon the state of wanting and to bravely, audaciously, move directly into the state of having. You must ask yourself a powerful question. How would I feel if my desire were already a fact? Not ecstatic, not wildly excited. Those are the emotions of surprise that come from receiving something unexpected. But after that, initial shock wears off. How would you feel on a normal Tuesday? If you were already wealthy, how would you walk, talk, and think about money? There would be a sense of ease, of peace, of security. If you were already in a loving, committed relationship, how would you feel as you go about your day? There would be a sense of warmth, of contentment, of being cherished. This quiet, natural, satisfied feeling is the frequency of the wish fulfilled. It is the feeling of it is done. Your work is to generate this feeling within yourself before there is any evidence for it in your outer world. To do this, Neville provided a powerful and practical technique he called the state akin to sleep, or S-A-T-S. This is a method for bypassing the loud, critical, conscious mind and speaking directly to the impressionable Dakiri, all-powerful subconscious mind. The gateway to the subconscious opens widest when the conscious mind is subdued, primarily in the drowsy, hypnotic state just before you fall asleep, or just as you awaken. Here is how you practice this sacred art. Lie down in a comfortable position and allow your body to relax completely. Enter that sweet, hazy state where you are not quite asleep but no longer fully awake. Now, you must construct a simple, short, Symbolic scene in your imagination. This scene must be an action that implies that your wish has been fulfilled. It is crucial that the scene takes place after your goal has been realized. For example, if you desire a promotion, do not imagine your boss telling you got the job. Instead, imagine a friend shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations on your promotion." If you desire to be healed, do not imagine the process of healing. Imagine yourself doing something you would do if you were already perfectly healthy. Like playing a sport or climbing a mountain. The scene must be short, so you can easily repeat it. And it must be filled with sensory vividness. In that scene of your friend congratulating you, you must feel the pressure of their hand in yours. You must hear the tone of their voice. You must see the smile on their face. You bring this imaginal act to life with as much sensory detail as you can muster. Then, you loop this scene over and over again, like a mental lullaby. As you repeat the scene, you begin to generate the corresponding feeling. The feeling of pride, of relief, of joy. This feeling is the secret ingredient. You must allow this feeling to saturate your entire being. You marinate in the emotion of the wish fulfilled until it feels more real than the bed you are lying on. You must persist in this imaginal act until you have given it all the tones of reality. And then, the final, crucial step. You fall asleep in this state. You drift off into the unconscious while wrapped in the feeling of your dream being true. You have successfully planted the seed. This leads us to the greatest test of faith. Living through the day. After a successful S.A.T.S. session, you must learn to live from the end. Your 5 senses will present a world that seems to contradict your inner reality. The bank account may still be empty. The other side of the bed may still be cold. This is the moment where most people falter. They check for results, and seeing none, they revert back to their old state of lack and wanting, effectively digging up the seed they planted the night before. Your task is to remain faithful to the unseen reality. This is perfectly illustrated by a story from Neville's own life. During the Great Depression, he was in New York, desperate to return to his family in Barbados, but possessing no money for the passage. For many nights, as he lay in his New York apartment, he would imagine that he was not in New York at all. He imagined he was sleeping in his old bedroom in his family's home in Barbados. He felt the familiar bed. He smelled the sea air. He heard the sound of the ocean through the window. He completely immersed himself in the feeling of being there. He fell asleep in Barbados every night. He walked the streets of New York during the day. But in his mind, his true home was Barbados. He was living from the end. After maintaining this state, a series of seemingly miraculous events unfolded. His brother in Barbados, feeling a sudden urge, sent him the money for a ticket. He was booked on a later ship, but at the last moment, was offered a first-class passage on an earlier, more desirable ship for the price of a lower-class ticket. The universe had built the bridge of incidents to take him from his assumption to his physical reality. This is your work. To use the sacred portal of your imagination to feel the reality of your desire until it feels like a memory. And then, to carry that quiet, confident feeling with you throughout the day. No matter what your senses tell you, you are no longer praying for a thing. You are giving thanks from the state of already having it. You are speaking the language of the universe in its mother tongue. The language of embodied feeling. But what happens when, despite your best efforts, deep-seated programs from your past keep sabotaging your new feeling state? What do you do when the old script of unworthiness plays on a loop? To truly make this new feeling your home, we must become conscious editors of the very code that runs our lives. We must learn how to rewrite the subconscious script. You have now been entrusted with the most potent secret of creation. The understanding that feeling is the conduit through which the unseen becomes seen. You have stood at the threshold of your subconscious mind in the sacred moments before sleep, planting the seeds of your desired reality with the power of your divine imagination. Yet, You may have experienced something perplexing, something deeply human. You hold the feeling of abundance for an hour, only to find the old, familiar ghost of scarcity whispering in your ear. You marinate in the feeling of love and acceptance, only to be ambushed by a sudden wave of unworthiness. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that your new commands are conflicting with the old, deeply embedded programs that are running the show to make your new reality permanent. It is not enough to simply feel it. You must become the master programmer of your own mind and begin the essential work of rewriting the subconscious script. Imagine your mind is a vast and powerful computer. The conscious mind, the part you are aware of right now, is the screen and the keyboard. It represents about 5% of your mind's processing power. You can use it to type in new commands and make conscious choices, but the other 95%, the real power, lies hidden from view. This is your subconscious mind, the hard drive. This hard drive has been running since the day you were born. From the ages of 0 to 7, your brain was operating primarily in a theta wave state, a state of hypnosis. You were in pure download mode, absorbing everything from your environment without a critical filter. You learned about money by watching your parents. You learned about love by how you were treated. You absorbed the beliefs of your culture, your teachers, and your society. And all of it was saved directly to your hard drive as fundamental truth. These became your core programs. Money is the root of all evil, or you have to work hard to get by. Relationships are difficult. I'm not smart enough. Good things don't last. These are not just thoughts. They are deeply grooved neural pathways, complex chemical signatures, and energetic habits that have been running automatically beneath the surface of your awareness for your entire life. This explains why sheer willpower so often fails. Willpower is a function of the conscious mind. That 5%, trying to change your life with willpower alone, is like a tiny captain on a small raft. The conscious mind trying to change the direction of a massive supertanker. The subconscious mind. You can row with all your might. You can scream directions until you are hoarse. But the sheer momentum and power of the tanker's existing course will overwhelm your efforts every single time. This is the source of self-sabotage. It is that maddening feeling of knowing what you want to do, but finding yourself repeating the same old patterns. You are not weak or flawed. You are simply running conflicting software. Your new conscious command, I want to be wealthy, is in direct opposition to the old, dominant program. People like us don't get rich. To win this battle, you don't fight the tanker head-on. That is a losing proposition. Instead, you go quietly into the engine room and begin to reprogram its destination. To do this, we employ a toolkit of reprogramming techniques designed to speak the language the subconscious understands, the language of emotion and repetition. The first tool is the affirmation. But used correctly, mindlessly repeating, I am wealthy while you feel broke is not just ineffective. It is counterproductive. Your subconscious mind, whose job is to match your inner and outer worlds, will simply reject a statement that is so contrary to your dominant feeling state. To make affirmations work, you must infuse them with feeling and couch them in a way that bypasses your inner critic. Instead of a blunt statement, try a softer, more expansive one like, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. Feel the gratitude and relief in that statement, or frame it as a question that implies the reality. Isn't it wonderful how my life just keeps getting better and better? Your subconscious doesn't argue with a question. Repeating these emotionally charged statements, especially in the receptive states of drowsiness before sleep or upon waking, begins to carve new grooves in the hard drive. The second tool is powerful: creative visualization, which we can think of as mental rehearsal. Scientific studies, particularly those by Dr. Joe Dispenza, have shown that the brain does not know the difference between a real experience and one that is vividly imagined. When you close your eyes and mentally rehearse your desired future, your brain begins to fire new sequences and combinations of neurons, creating new neural networks. If you consistently visualize yourself being confident, speaking eloquently, and succeeding in a presentation, your brain begins to install the neurological hardware of a confident person. When the time comes for the actual presentation, your brain thinks, "Oh, I've done this before. I know how to do this." You are literally upgrading your brain's circuitry to match your future reality before it has physically arrived. You are no longer hoping to become that person. You are actively installing the personality and wiring of that new self. The third, and profoundly effective tool, is scripting. This is the act of writing your new reality into existence. Take a journal and a pen, and write about your ideal day. But write it in the past tense, as if it has already happened. This is not a list of goals. It is a story. It is a sensory-rich narrative of your life as you desire it to be. Today was an absolutely incredible day. I woke up feeling so refreshed and energized. And as I looked at my loving partner, sleeping peacefully beside me, my heart just swelled with gratitude. The work I did on my passion project today felt so inspired. The ideas just flowed through me effortlessly. Later, I checked my bank account and smiled, feeling such a deep sense of security and freedom, knowing I have more than enough to do everything I want to do. As you write, you engage your mind. As you feel the emotions of the story, you engage your heart. As you physically move the pen across the paper, you engage your body. This multisensory approach makes scripting one of the most powerful ways to convince your subconscious mind that this new story is your current reality. You are writing a new page in your book of life. And with enough feeling and repetition, that story will begin to play out on the stage of your world. These tools are all built upon two foundational pillars: repetition and emotion. You cannot expect to overwrite 20 or 30 years of deeply ingrained programming with 1 or 2 sessions of visualization. You are forging a new path in a dense jungle. At first, it requires conscious effort to hack away at the undergrowth. But the more you walk this new path, the more you think these new thoughts and feel these new emotions, the clearer the path becomes. Eventually, through sheer repetition, it becomes the default path, the one your mind travels down automatically. And emotion is the fuel for this entire process. Emotion is the energetic charge that saves the new program to the hard drive. An affirmation without feeling is just an unread email in the subconscious inbox. An affirmation combined with the elevated emotion of joy, gratitude, or empowerment is a system-wide software update. It is the command that the subconscious must accept and execute. You are not the victim of your programming. You are the programmer. The past has no power over you other than the power you give it by continuing to run its outdated software. By consciously and persistently using these tools, you are taking your power back. You are deleting the old files of lack and unworthiness and installing the new, upgraded operating system of abundance, love, and freedom. However, as you begin this deep cleaning process, as you start deleting these old files, do not be surprised if some of the corrupted data, some of the hidden viruses of your past, flare up one last time, demanding your attention. This is the next critical stage of your journey. The courageous act of facing and integrating the parts of yourself you have long denied. It is time to embrace your shadow as you diligently work to reprogram your mind, planting seeds of abundance and love in the fertile soil of your subconscious. You may begin to notice a strange phenomenon. As the light of your new awareness grows brighter, it starts to cast a longer, darker shadow. Old fears, forgotten insecurities, and surprisingly intense emotions may begin to surface with a vengeance. You might find yourself inexplicably self-sabotaging just as you get close to a goal, or getting triggered by people and situations in ways that feel disproportionate and irrational. This is not a regression. It is, in fact, a sign of profound progress. You have reached a crucial and unavoidable stage in your evolution. A sacred initiation that separates the dabblers from the masters. It is time to stop running from the darkness within you. It is time to turn and finally embrace your shadow self. The concept of the shadow self was brought into the light by the pioneering psychologist Carl Jung. He described the shadow as a kind of invisible bag that each of us carries behind us. From our earliest days, we learn that certain aspects of our personality are good and acceptable, while others are bad and unacceptable. To gain love, approval, and a sense of belonging, we consciously identify with our good traits: being kind, being generous, being calm, and we take the unacceptable parts, our anger, our greed, our fear, our vulnerability, our wildness, and we stuff them into this invisible bag. This collection of disowned, denied, and repressed parts of ourselves is our shadow. It is crucial to understand that the shadow is not inherently evil. It is simply that which we have refused to look at. It contains not just our pain, but also our most potent, untamed power. It holds our creativity, our assertiveness, our passion, and our deepest authenticity, all the parts of ourselves that we deem too messy or too dangerous for the polite world. The problem is that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. The immense energy of these powerful traits, locked away in the basement of our psyche, it will not stay dormant forever. It will find a way to be seen, and if we refuse to own it within ourselves, the universe has a brilliant and often infuriating way of showing it to us. Through a mechanism called projection, we project our unowned shadow onto the people and circumstances of our lives. The world becomes a mirror, reflecting back to us the very parts of ourselves we have disowned. That person at work whose arrogance makes your blood boil, they might be mirroring back to you your own disowned confidence. A part of you that wants to be seen and acknowledged, but that you have labeled as arrogant and repressed. That public figure whose immense wealth triggers feelings of disgust or judgment in you, they could be reflecting your own shadow beliefs about money and abundance. And a deep, disowned desire for that same freedom. The pattern is unerring. That which triggers you the most in others is often a direct signpost to an unhealed and unacknowledged aspect of your own shadow. This is not a punishment. It is an act of profound compassion from the universe. It is a loving invitation to become whole. For decades, you have been spending an incredible amount of life force energy holding these parts of yourself down. It is like trying to hold a dozen beach balls underwater simultaneously. It is exhausting. It creates a constant, low-level internal war. A state of perpetual tension that drains your vitality and lowers your vibrational frequency. You cannot be in a state of inner conflict and simultaneously broadcast a clear, coherent signal of peace and abundance. The war within you will always be reflected as a war without. The promise of shadow work, the great secret, is that there is pure gold hidden in that darkness. When you have the courage to stop projecting, to pull the trigger back from the other person and ask, what is this showing me about myself? You begin a process of profound alchemy. When you finally turn and face your disowned anger, you realize it is not a monster to be feared. It is a sacred guardian. Its gift is the power of healthy boundaries. The energy to say no to what does not serve you, and the fuel for passionate change in your life. When you embrace your hidden fear, you find its gifts are wisdom, discernment, and a clear connection to what you truly value and want to protect. When you have the courage to look at your jealousy, you see that it is not a sign of your pettiness, but a compass needle pointing directly at your deepest desires, revealing what your soul truly yearns to experience. By welcoming these lost parts of yourself back into the light of your consciousness, you reclaim all the energy you were wasting on repression. You stop the inner war. You become integrated, coherent, and whole. This wholeness creates an incredibly powerful and magnetic energy field, one that is no longer sabotaged by the ghosts in your own machine. So how does one practice this courageous work? It is a gentle and compassionate process, not a violent exorcism. It begins with mindful awareness. First, notice your triggers. When you have a strong, negative emotional reaction to someone, see it as a flashing red light on your inner dashboard. This is a message for you. Pause it. Instead of blaming them, ask the brave question: what part of me is this person reflecting? What quality do they possess that I have denied in myself? Second, begin a dialogue. Take out a journal. Write a letter to the part of yourself you are integrating. For instance, "Dear, my disowned selfishness." Ask it questions. What do you need from me? What have you been trying to tell me? What gift do you have for me? Then, switch your pen to your other hand, or simply shift your intention, and allow that part to write back to you. Without judgment or censorship, you will be astonished at the wisdom that emerges from these banished parts of your psyche. The final and most important step is integration and acceptance. This does not mean you give your anger free rein to rage destructively. It means you accept the presence of the anger within you. You say to it, "I see you. I accept you as a part of me. Thank you for your energy. I will now find a healthy and constructive way to use your gift of setting boundaries." It's about bringing the lost child back into the home of your heart. Imagine a kingdom that lives in terror of a monster that dwells in the nearby forest. The king sends night after night to slay the beast, but they all return defeated. The kingdom is paralyzed by fear. Finally, a wise old woman tells the king that the monster cannot be killed with a sword. The only way is for the king to go into the forest alone, to drop his weapons, and to meet it face to face. Trembling, the king does as she says. He walks into the dark woods and finds the fearsome creature. It snarls, revealing its sharp teeth. But instead of drawing his sword, the king simply looks at it with compassion and says, "I see you. I will not harm you. I welcome you." As the monster feels the king's acceptance, a magical transformation occurs. It begins to shrink, a monstrous feature softening, until all that is left sitting before the king is a small, frightened child. The king's own fear, which he had banished from the castle as a boy because he thought it made him weak. The king gently takes the child's hand, leads him back to the castle, and gives him a seat of honor by the throne. With the shadow finally brought into the light, the kingdom is at peace. And the king, now whole, rules with a wisdom and strength he had never known before. You are this king. Your life is this kingdom. The path to true peace and power is not in fighting your monsters, but in embracing them. This journey into the shadow is the ultimate act of self-love. It is the path to wholeness, and from this new foundation of inner integrity, where you are no longer at war with yourself, your energetic signal becomes clear, powerful, and undivided. You are now prepared to interact with the world in a new way. To understand how the inner state of wholeness you have cultivated directly and miraculously influences the world you receive. Through a profound universal law, having journeyed into the dark forest of the self and returned with the lost jewels of your own wholeness, you are no longer at war. The civil conflict within your soul has ceased. You are now an integrated being, broadcasting a clear, coherent, and powerful signal from a place of inner peace. From this new state of being, you are ready to engage with the world not as a battlefield, but as a grand, magical feedback loop. You are ready to learn and apply one of the most practical and dynamic principles of creation, a law that bridges the gap between your inner state and your outer reality. This is the law of reversibility, and it teaches a simple, profound truth: that which you wish to receive, you must first learn to give. The law itself, spoken of by mystics and masters like Neville Goddard, is based on a simple principle of physics and metaphysics: all transformations of force are reversible. In simpler terms, if a particular cause produces a particular effect, then producing the effect can, in turn, generate the cause. We have been taught to think of this as a one-way street. For example, we believe that first we feel happy, and then we smile. First we become successful, and then we feel confident. The law of reversibility reveals that this is not a one-way street at all. It is a continuous, circular flow of energy. Yes, feeling happy can cause you to smile, but the law states that the reverse is also true. The physical act of smiling can cause you to feel happy. You can consciously choose to enter this creative loop at any point. You do not have to passively wait for a feeling to descend upon you. You can actively invoke the feeling by embodying its physical and emotional correspondence. You can generate the cause by first performing the effect. Let us test this right now with a simple experiment. Regardless of your current mood, physically alter your posture. Sit up straight. Pull your shoulders back. Lift your chin slightly. Now, place a broad, genuine smile on your face. You may have to force it at first. Hold it. Feel the muscles in your face contracting into the shape of a smile. Hold it for 30 seconds. Now, notice the subtle shift within you. A slight lightening of your mood. A small change in your internal chemistry. The physical act, consciously performed, sent a signal back to your brain and your nervous system, which responded by releasing neurotransmitters associated with pleasure and happiness. You did not wait for happiness to find you. You invited it in by preparing a physical home for it. This is a microcosm of a law that works on every scale of existence. Now let's apply this to something more complex. Like wealth. The common approach is to wait until you have money to feel secure and prosperous. But this is waiting for the effect. The law of reversibility invites you to generate the cause. This does not mean spending money you don't have. That would be an act of fear and foolishness. It means embodying the state of a prosperous person. How would a person who is financially secure and at ease carry themselves? They would not walk with their shoulders hunched in worry. They would walk with an air of confidence and purpose. How would they think about paying bills, not as a moment of terror, but as a normal, routine circulation of energy? So, you begin to walk with that posture of confidence. You begin to consciously shift your thoughts around bills from fear to gratitude. I am grateful I have the resources to meet this need. More importantly, you embody the spirit of abundance, which is generosity. True, lasting prosperity is a state of flow, not hoarding. A person who feels abundant is naturally more generous with their time, their praise, their energy, and their resources. They give a compliment freely. They share an idea without fear of it being stolen. When they give a gift or a tip, they do so with a feeling of joyful release, not of painful loss. By consciously practicing this generosity of spirit, you are performing the effect. You are acting as if you are already abundant. You are sending a powerful, undeniable signal to the universe that you are a person through whom abundance flows freely. And the universe, which is a perfect mirror, I must reflect this state back to you in the form of increased material resources. You generate the feeling of wealth by first giving from a place of imagined wealth. This law applies to every facet of human experience. If you wish to receive love, you must first give love. So many people search for a partner from a state of emptiness, hoping someone else will come and fill their void. This is a recipe for codependence and disappointment, as they will only attract another person with a matching void. The reversible path is to become a fountain of love yourself. Radiate love to your friends, your family, your pets, your work, and most critically, to yourself. Forgive your own imperfections. Celebrate your own strengths. When you fill your own being with the frequency of love, you are no longer a beggar searching for scraps. You are a lighthouse, and a matching ship has no choice but to be drawn to your light. If you wish to receive forgiveness and peace, you must first give forgiveness. Holding a grudge, replaying an old hurt, is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It keeps you energetically chained to the past, locked in a low-frequency state of resentment. The act of forgiving someone is a selfish act in the most spiritual sense. It does not condone their behavior. It simply cuts the energetic cord, freeing you from the prison of your own bitterness. By giving the gift of forgiveness, you create the empty space within yourself to receive the peace you desire. It is vital to understand that this principle of giving is primarily energetic, not necessarily material. It is the feeling and the intention behind the action that matters most. This is the great lesson illustrated in Florence Scovel Shinn's classic book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. She speaks of the law of circulation. Money, like blood, must circulate to be healthy. Hoarding it creates stagnation and disease. When you give, whether it's $1 or a compliment, the crucial act is to release it with love and a feeling of flow, silently affirming that there is an infinite supply from which it came, and it now goes forth to bless and prosper, and will return to you multiplied. Think of yourself as a master farmer. The farmer who desires a bountiful harvest of corn cannot sit in his barn, fearfully clutching his sack of seed corn. If he hoards the seed, he guarantees he will have no harvest. His success depends on his willingness to give his precious seed away, to release it into the fertile soil. He does this with complete faith, not with a sense of loss, but with the confident expectation that the laws of nature will multiply that seed 1,000-fold. You must become this farmer. The seeds are your energy, your love, your time, your forgiveness, your generosity. You must sow them into the fertile soil of the world with the same faith, trusting that the immutable laws of the universe will return to you a harvest beyond your wildest dreams. You are initiating the cycle. You are not waiting for the world to give you something so you can feel good. You are choosing to feel good and to give, in order to activate the world to give back to you. By consciously practicing the law of reversibility, you move from being a passive pawn of circumstances to an active player in the game of life. You are taking the integrated, a whole energy you cultivated through your shadow work, and are now directing it outward with purpose and intention. This practice builds faith, because it produces results, and as you continue to act as if, you will begin to notice the universe responding in uncanny ways. You will start to see the feedback, the signs, the little winks and nods from the cosmos, confirming that you are on the right track. This is the universe speaking back to you in its own mysterious and magical language, the language of synchronicity. As you begin to live from a place of inner wholeness, applying the great law of reversibility by consciously giving that which you wish to receive, you will start to notice something magical happening. The rigid, mechanical, and often harsh reality you once knew begins to soften at the edges. Strange and delightful coincidences start to pop up in your life like wildflowers after a spring rain. You'll think of a song, and it will immediately play on the radio. You'll have a question in your mind, and the answer will appear on a billboard you drive past. You'll mention an old friend you haven't seen in a decade, only to bump into them at the grocery store the very next day. This is not chance. This is not your mind playing tricks on you. This is the universe beginning to speak back to you in its native tongue. It is the language of meaningful coincidence, the sacred language of synchronicity. The term was coined by psychologist Carl Jung to describe events that are connected not by a linear chain of cause and effect, but by their meaning. A simple coincidence is random. Two people wearing the same shirt in a cafe holds no particular significance. A synchronicity, however, is a coincidence that is deeply and personally meaningful to you. An event in the outer world that mirrors a thought, feeling, or need in your inner world, in a way that feels orchestrated and purposeful. It is the universe leaning in and whispering a secret directly into your ear. It is a moment where the veil between the physical world and the underlying energetic intelligence thins, and you get a glimpse of the intricate, beautiful, and purposeful pattern in which you are woven. Imagine life as a magnificent tapestry. From our perspective, standing behind it, all we see are tangled threads, random knots, and chaotic crossings. It seems messy and meaningless. Synchronicity is a moment when a hole opens in the fabric. And for a breathtaking instant, you see the front of the tapestry, the stunning, coherent, and perfect image, where every single thread has its precise and necessary place. These synchronicities are not just for our amusement. They serve a profound and vital purpose on our creative journey. They are the feedback system of the cosmos. Think of them as cosmic breadcrumbs left on your path, or as winks from a loving universe, confirming that your signal is being received. When you are living in alignment with your true self, when your frequency is high, and when you are practicing the laws we have discussed, the flow of synchronicities increases. They are the universe's way of saying, yes, you're on the right track. Keep going. I am with you. They are the road signs on the highway of life, assuring you that you are heading in the right direction. Conversely, when you fall back into resistance, fear, and a low-frequency state, you will notice that the flow of synchronicities tends to dry up. The world feels random and mundane again. This feedback is not a punishment. It is simply a neutral indicator, like a spiritual GPS, gently letting you know that you've taken a detour from your path of least resistance. Perhaps the most important function of synchronicity is to build your faith. The logical, conditioned mind scoffs at the unseen. It demands hard proof and physical evidence, a full-blown manifestation, like a large sum of money or a perfect relationship appearing overnight, can sometimes be too big a leap for the logical mind to accept, causing it to short-circuit with doubt. So the universe, in its infinite wisdom, gives us miracles in miniature. It gives us the synchronicity. Each meaningful coincidence is a small piece of undeniable evidence that a hidden intelligence is at play. It's a gentle whisper that erodes the fortress of doubt, brick by brick. It is the universe training you to believe in magic, by first showing you the small tricks before it reveals the grand illusion. You will begin to notice them in various forms, and recognizing them is part of the joy. One of the most common forms in our modern world is seeing repeating number sequences. You'll glance at the clock and it will be 1111, RRSHR, or 333. You'll see license plates with 444 or 555. You'll get a receipt for $22. RRSHR. While some traditions assign specific meanings to these numbers, their most powerful purpose is simply to grab your attention. It is the universe tapping you on the shoulder, reminding you to be present and aware, reminding you that there is a hidden order beneath the surface of things. You will also experience it through sound. You'll be wrestling with a decision, and a song will come on the radio with lyrics that provide the perfect advice or reassurance. It feels as though the DJ is your personal guardian angel. Then there are the chance encounters and overheard conversations. You'll be stuck on a problem, and the very person with the unique skill set to solve it will randomly sit next to you on a bus. You'll be feeling lost and uncertain, and you'll overhear a snippet of a stranger's conversation in a cafe that speaks directly to your soul and gives you the clarity you were seeking. This is the universe using the entire world as its stage, and everyone in it as a potential actor, to deliver a message directly to you. This is the world of the Celestine prophecy, made real. A world where we navigate, not by force, but by following a trail of energetic breadcrumbs and meaningful encounters. So, how do you cultivate this magical conversation? How do you invite more of this divine feedback into your life? The first and most important key is your attention. Synchronicities are likely happening around you far more often than you realize. But your mind is too cluttered, too busy, and too distracted to notice them. You must become a spiritual detective, moving through your day with a sense of wonder and curiosity, actively looking for the clues, simply setting the intention. Universe, show me a sign today. is often enough to open your eyes to the magic that is already there. The second key is to receive these gifts with gratitude. When a synchronicity occurs, do not dismiss it. Do not rationalize it away as just a coincidence. This is like someone giving you a compliment and you turning your back on them. You shut down the flow. Instead, pause, take a breath, smile, and say, either silently or out loud, "Thank you. I see that. I hear you. I am paying attention." This act of grateful acknowledgement is a powerful affirmation. You are telling the universe that you appreciate its messages, which in turn encourages it to send you more. You are entering into a positive feedback loop, a delightful, ongoing conversation. Finally, you must cultivate a state of trust and non-attachment. You cannot force a synchronicity. They rarely appear when you are desperately hunting for them, because that hunting energy is a state of resistance and lack. They appear when you have done your inner work, stated your intention, and then let go, trusting that the universe is handling the details. They are gifts of grace, appearing in moments of flow. They are the ripples in the water that show you your ship is on its way. As you become more fluent in this magical language of the cosmos, your trust in the unseen will deepen. You will start to feel less like a solitary individual fighting against the world, and more like a cherished dance partner, moving in perfect rhythm with a wise and loving intelligence. But this newfound trust is about to face its most significant and demanding test. It is the test of time itself. What do you do when the signs are all pointing in the right direction? The synchronicities are flowing. Your faith is high, but your ultimate desire has still not appeared in your physical reality. This is where we must learn the wisdom of patience and the sacred nature of the pause between the planting of the seed and the miracle of the harvest. This is where we must come to understand the divine lag time. You have entered into the grand conversation with the cosmos. You have learned to speak its language of feeling, and you have begun to hear its whispered replies in the language of synchronicity. The trail of cosmic breadcrumbs is laid before you. The signs are all aligned, and your heart is soaring with the faith that your desire is on its way. And then, silence. The synchronicities may continue, but the final, physical manifestation, the tangible reality you have so faithfully imagined, remains just out of reach. You look at your world, and it still looks like the world of yesterday. This is the great trial by fire for every creator. It is the moment your newfound faith is put to the ultimate test. It is the sacred pause, the divine silence between the prayer and the amen. It is the period of gestation known as the lag time. To navigate this crucial phase, you must first understand what is happening behind the scenes. Your desire does not magically teleport into your life from another dimension. When you successfully impress your subconscious mind with a new feeling state, the universe begins to construct what Neville Goddard called a bridge of incidents to lead you to your destination. This bridge is a series of perfectly orchestrated balkias, seemingly natural events, people, and circumstances that must fall into place. It is a divine chain of dominoes, each one needing to tip over in its perfect sequence to bring about the final result. The person who has the key to your dream house may need to decide to sell. The company with your perfect job may need to have an employee retire to create an opening. The components of your miracle are being gathered from across the space and time, and this assembly takes time. What you are experiencing as a delay is not a denial from the universe. It is simply a buffer, a temporal gap between the energetic cause and the physical effect. Your physical reality is always an echo of your past vibration. It is old news. The life you are seeing right now is a reflection of the person you were, not the person you are becoming. Your new reality has already been created. It is a fully formed energetic fact. It simply takes time for the light of that new star to travel through the vastness of space and time to reach your physical eyes. The lag time is not evidence of failure. It is evidence that something new is on its way. Furthermore, this delay is not a flaw in the system. It is a profound gift of grace. It is a divine incubation period, designed for your ultimate success and well-being. Imagine if your every fleeting desire manifested instantly. It would result in utter chaos. The lag time serves two vital, compassionate purposes. First, it is a period of preparation. The universe is giving you time to grow into the person who is ready to receive and sustain your desire. If you desire a great and loving partnership, the lag time is your opportunity to heal your own wounds, to learn to love yourself, so that when your partner arrives, you are whole and ready, not needy and broken. If you desire great wealth, the lag time is your opportunity to cultivate wisdom, discipline, and a mindset of stewardship, so that the wealth becomes a blessing, not a curse. The universe is not just building a bridge to your desire. It is building you into the person who can happily live there. Second, the lag time is a test of your certainty. It gives you a chance to truly clarify your desires. Is this what you really want? As you hold the feeling of your desire over time, you may find that it shifts or refines itself. The universe, in its infinite love, that gives you the space to make sure the order you have placed is the one your soul truly wants. The delay is not a cosmic oversight. It is a sacred quarantine, protecting you from manifesting things you are not ready for, or that are not for your highest good. This brings us to the concept of divine timing. We, with our limited, linear perspective, I believe we know the best and fastest way for things to happen. But the universe is a master weaver, seeing the entire, infinite tapestry of reality at once. It knows that for your desire to arrive in the most perfect way, 1,000 other threads must be woven into place. Your destiny is intertwined with the destiny of countless others. Your perfect business partner may be finishing up a project on the other side of the world. The perfect apartment may still be occupied by someone who is about to get their own dream job in another city. Trusting divine timing is the ultimate act of surrender. It is releasing the arrogant assumption that your personal timetable is superior to the omniscient wisdom of the cosmos. It is like being a single violin player in a vast orchestra, and trusting that the conductor knows exactly when it is your turn to play your solo for the most beautiful and powerful effect. So, how do we navigate this sacred waiting room? How do we hold our faith when our senses scream otherwise? We do so by learning from the wisdom of nature. Consider the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. A farmer plants the seed, and for the entire first year, he waters it, fertilizes it, and protects the soil. Nothing appears. He does the same for the second year, the third year, and the fourth year. Still nothing. His neighbors mock him for watering empty ground. But the farmer has faith in the unseen process. Then, in the fifth year, a tiny sprout breaks through the earth, and in a period of just 6 weeks, the bamboo tree grows to a staggering 90 feet tall. The profound question is this: did the tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Or in 5 years? The answer, of course, is 5 years. That lag time, that period of apparent nothingness, was not a time of inactivity. It was a time of immense and necessary root development, creating a foundation strong enough to support its incredible, rapid, outward growth. Your desires are just like this bamboo tree. During the lag time, the universe is not ignoring you. It is building the vast and complex root system for your manifestation. Think of it like baking a cake. You mix the ingredients with care, your intention. You set the oven to the correct temperature, you generate the feeling. You place the cake in the oven, you release it to the universe. And then, you trust the process. You do not anxiously open the oven door every 2 minutes to check on it. You know that this would interrupt the chemical process and cause the cake to fall. You walk away. You busy yourself with other things. You live in a state of joyful expectation, knowing with certainty that at the proper time, the delicious aroma will fill your kitchen, and your cake will be ready. Your desire is in the cosmic oven. You must stop opening the door to check on it. Every time you worry, Every time you doubt, every time you look for physical evidence, you are opening the oven door, disrupting the process. Your job is to trust that the heat is on and the timer is set. Your work is to live in the state of joyful knowing, the feeling a child has on the night before their birthday. The gifts are not yet visible, but the excitement and certainty are already fully present. The lag time is not a void to be endured. It is a sacred and active space to be honored. It is the holy ground where your faith is forged into unshakable knowing. Trust the unseen roots. Trust the heat of the cosmic oven. Trust the wisdom of the conductor. For it is in this period of sacred trust that the foundations of your greatest miracles are laid. And once you have mastered this art of trusting time, you realize you are no longer a prisoner of a single, predetermined timeline. You are ready to learn a more radical and liberating truth. The idea that you can shift between timelines altogether. It is time to learn how to surf the very waves of possibility. Having learned to trust the sacred rhythm of the cosmos and the perfection of divine timing, you have developed a profound faith in the unseen. You understand that your desires unfold in their own perfect season. You have graduated from being a prisoner of time to being its patient and respectful partner. Now, you are ready for a quantum leap in your understanding of reality. A paradigm shift so radical that it may feel like learning to breathe water. You are ready to move beyond influencing a single timeline and learn how to consciously choose between an infinity of them. This is the world of reality transurfing, a revolutionary model that teaches you to stop trying to change your reality and to simply choose a different one. The model, brought to us by the enigmatic quantum physicist Vadim Zeland, begins with a mind-bending premise. It proposes the existence of something called the space of variations. This is a stationary, infinite, and eternal information field that contains the script, the scenery, and the solution for every possible event that could ever occur. Everything that has ever happened, is happening now, or could possibly happen in the future already exists as a potential scenario. A silent film strip stored in this cosmic archive. This space of variations is not somewhere out there. It is everywhere, interpenetrating our physical world. Just as a television signal interpenetrates the room you are in, physical reality, as we experience it, is simply one frame of one film being illuminated and brought to life as our consciousness moves through the archive. You are not creating the film. The film is already written. Your power lies in choosing which film to watch. Within this infinite space of variations, there are countless parallel pathways known as lifelines. A lifeline is a complete version of a destiny, a track that contains a certain quality of life. There is a lifeline where you are struggling financially and running parallel to it, separated only by a difference in frequency, is a lifeline where you are thriving in abundance. There is a lifeline where you are lonely and searching, and right next to it, a lifeline where you are in a joyous and fulfilling partnership. Every subtle shift in your thoughts, attitudes, and emotions can cause you to drift from one lifeline to another. You are not fighting to change the scenery on your current lifeline, an act that is difficult and often futile. You are instead learning how to effortlessly slide or surf onto a different lifeline where the scenery already matches your preference. How do we make this shift? The mechanism is the very frequency of your being, the unity of your thoughts and feelings that we have already discussed. This energetic signature acts like a tuning fork. It resonates with a corresponding lifeline in the space of variations, and your material reality begins to manifest along that track. To consciously choose a new lifeline, you simply begin to tune your inner broadcast to the frequency of that new reality. You think the thoughts and feel the feelings of the person who is already living on that desired lifeline. You are not trying to attract something to you. You are resonating with a reality that already exists, and your physical body and circumstances will inevitably drift over to match that resonance. But here, Zeland introduces a master key, a crucial and counterintuitive principle that makes this entire process one of effortless grace rather than desperate striving. It is the principle of reducing importance. According to transurfing, whenever we assign an excessive amount of importance to something, we create what is called an excess potential. This is a powerful whirlwind of energetic imbalance in the otherwise calm field of the universe. This excess potential can be created in two ways: by desperately wanting something or by intensely hating something. When you think, "My life will be over if I don't get this job," you are creating a massive excess potential of desire. When you think, "I can't stand being poor. I hate it," you are creating a massive excess potential of repulsion. The universe, in its drive for equilibrium, must neutralize these energetic storms. It does so by deploying balancing forces. These balancing forces are the very obstacles, setbacks, and frustrations that plague our lives. They are the universe's attempt to restore harmony by taking away the thing you have assigned too much importance to. This is why the more you desperately need to win, the more likely you are to make a foolish mistake. It's why the more you obsess over a person, the more they seem to pull away. It's why the more you hate your current situation, the more you seem to get stuck in it. Your intense, needy energy of importance is creating a powerful headwind that makes forward movement impossible. The solution, therefore, is to consciously and deliberately reduce importance. You must learn to want, but not to need, to prefer, but not to demand. You must lower the stakes. You do this by returning to the calm, detached state of the observer. You re-engage with life as a game. You can play the game with passion, with skill, and with a clear intention to win. But you remain inwardly detached from the outcome, knowing that your ultimate well-being does not depend on it. You find a sense of peace with your current reality, even as you intend to change it. This calm acceptance neutralizes the excess potential. It stills the stormy waters and allows your ship to glide smoothly onto its new course. Zealand offers a brilliant analogy. Imagine you are walking through an infinite museum with countless exhibition halls. This museum is the space of variations. You enter a hall, and you find that you do not like the paintings on display. They are dark, gloomy, and depressing. What do? A normal, unconscious person would start yelling at the paintings, trying to scrape the paint off, or demanding that the museum curator change them. This is how we typically live our lives, fighting with our current reality, hating it, resisting it, and trying to force it to be different. This struggle only keeps us glued to that hall, our energy keeping us trapped in front of the very paintings we despise. The transurfer takes a different approach. They calmly acknowledge the painting. They do not fight it. They simply say, "This is not to my liking," and they turn around and walk to a different exhibition hall, one that contains art that inspires and delights them. This is the essence of transurfing. To change your reality, you withdraw your attention and your emotional energy from the undesirable painting. You stop feeding it with the energy of your frustration and resistance, and you calmly and consistently place your attention on the reality you prefer to experience. You think from it. You feel from it. You act as if you are already in that other hall, looking at the beautiful paintings. You do not hope to get there one day. You simply choose to be there now. In your inner state, your physical reality, like a reflection in a mirror, will lag slightly, but it must eventually shift to show you the new room you have chosen. It is a process not of fighting, but of gliding, not of force, but of choice. It is the ultimate expression of creative freedom, the realization that you are not a victim of your reality, but a navigator in an infinite ocean of possibility. This calm, intentional way of being requires a new relationship with our own will, a deep understanding of the difference between the desperate pushing of the ego and the quiet, unshakable knowing of the soul. Having learned to surf the tides of reality, choosing your destination rather than fighting the currents, you arrive at a more subtle, and profound understanding of power. You begin to question the very nature of willpower itself. We have been taught that a strong will is the key to success, that we must impose our desires upon the world through sheer force and determination. But if reality transurfing teaches us to glide, and the law of reversibility teaches us to give, where does our will fit in? The answer is that there are two distinct forms of will, as different as night and day. One is the loud, frantic, and ultimately powerless will of the ego. The other is the silent, unshakable, and supremely powerful will of the soul. Your final initiation into the art of creation is to learn to distinguish between these two, to abandon the first, and to master the second. Let us first examine the will you have been taught to use, the will that has led to so much of your struggle. We will call this the outer will. This is the will of the ego, the part of you that believes it is separate, isolated, and in competition with the world. The outer will operates from a place of fear. It fears that if it does not push, nothing will move. If it does not control, chaos will ensue. If it does not fight, it will be defeated. This outer will is the driving force behind the hustle culture, the grind, the desperate need to make things happen. Its energy is tense, anxious, and forceful. It is the clenched fist, the gritted teeth, the strained muscle. It is the captain who screams at the storm, believing his own fury can change the direction of the wind. Most importantly, the outer will is the primary architect of the great wall of resistance we spoke of at the beginning of our journey. Every act of forceful manipulation, every attempt to control another person, every desperate push against the flow of life, adds another heavy brick to that wall, making your own journey more difficult. Paradoxically, the forceful exertion of your outer will is the very thing that prevents your true will from being done. Now, let us turn to its opposite, a form of will so subtle and quiet that it is often mistaken for passivity. We will call this the inner will. This is the will of the observer, the will of your higher self. The inner will has absolutely no interest in controlling the outer world. It knows that is a fool's errand. The sole domain and obsession of the inner will is the mastery of your inner world. It is the calm, centered, unshakable resolve to choose and maintain a specific state of being, regardless of what the outer world is reflecting. It is the serene determination to feel wealthy even when the bills are due. It is the quiet commitment to feel loved and whole even when you are alone. It is the steadfast decision to remain faithful to your assumption, to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when your five senses are screaming that it isn't true. The outer will is obsessed with doing. The inner will is obsessed with being this. It knows that from the correct state of being, all necessary doing will flow forth effortlessly, as a natural and joyful consequence. The great secret to bending reality to your will, then, is a sacred exchange. You must consciously and deliberately relinquish your grip on the outer will, and channel all of that reclaimed, wasted energy into the service of your inner will. You must stop trying to figure out the how, the when, and the who. You must surrender the need to manipulate the pieces on the chessboard of life. This is not an act of giving up. It is an act of profound trust. It is you, the captain of your ship, finally letting go of the oars you have been frantically rowing against the current, and instead, turning all of your focus and will toward holding the unwavering vision of your destination in your mind's eye. The moment you do this, the moment you stop fighting the river and commit fully to being the person who is already at the destination, the great, powerful current of the universe takes over. The bridge of incidents begins to assemble itself with magical precision. The lifeline shifts beneath your feet. The universe, which resisted your desperate pushing, now eagerly conspires to support your calm, persistent state of being. This reveals the true relationship between will and surrender. In our conventional understanding, they are opposites, but in spiritual reality, they are two sides of the same coin. True Powerful surrender is not passive resignation. It is not giving up on your desire. It is the active and willful surrender of your ego's need to control the process. It is surrendering the outer will. And true, powerful will is not a forceful pushing against the world. It is the unshakable inner will to hold to your chosen state of consciousness. You surrender the how to a higher power, so you can perfectly master the what you are being, thinking, and feeling in this present moment. Imagine a master archer preparing to shoot an arrow. A novice archer embodies the outer will. He focuses entirely on the target. His muscles are tense. His breathing is shallow. His mind is filled with the desperate need to hit the bullseye. He is trying to force the arrow to its destination. The result is often a miss, as his own tension throws off his aim. The master archer, however, embodies the inner will. His focus is not on the target, but on his own state of being. He enters into a calm and centered union with his bow and arrow. His primary active will is to control his breath, to still his mind, and to achieve a state of perfect inner alignment. The release of the arrow is not a forceful act, but a natural consequence of this inner state. He does not try to hit the target. He creates the inner conditions from which hitting the target is the only possible outcome. He has surrendered the need to control the arrow's flight, and has instead perfected the will to control the archer. The philosopher Alan Watts spoke of the difference between prickly and gooey people. Prickly people are rigid, tense, and controlling, always trying to impose their outer will on the world. They are brittle and they break under pressure. Gooey people are the opposite, completely passive, with no direction or will at all. The master of life is neither. They are like a willow tree, flexible yet resilient. They have a powerful inner will, like a deep and unshakable root system of intention. But their engagement with the world is flexible and flowing. They bend with the winds of circumstance, trusting that their deep roots will hold them steady. They surrender the outer will of the branches to the flow of the wind, while maintaining the inner will of the roots that know exactly who and where they are. This is the ultimate transformation of your power. It is the realization that your greatest strength is not in your ability to change the world, but in your ability to command your own mind. It is to stop being a frantic tyrant, trying to force your will upon a world that will not listen, and to become a benevolent sovereign of your own inner kingdom. And when you finally master this sacred exchange, when you let go of the noisy, ineffective outer will and embrace the silent, omnipotent inner will, the struggle of life ceases. The resistance dissolves. A sense of ease, grace, and magical flow begins to permeate your every moment. You have stepped out of the battlefield and into the dance. You have entered a new way of living, a state of being that the ancient sages simply called grace. When the battle is over, not through victory but through surrender, a new world reveals itself. When you finally relinquish the frantic, forceful outer will of the ego and anchor yourself in the quiet, unshakable certainty of the inner will, the very texture of reality begins to change. The pushing, the striving, the grinding resistance that has defined your life begins to dissolve. The river you were once fighting against now turns and carries you gently on its current. This is not a void. It is not emptiness. It is a new state of existence, rich with a quality of magical ease and profound support. You have ceased to be a warrior against life and have become its dance partner. You have entered what the ancient mystics and sages have always spoken of, a state of being known simply as grace. Living in a state of grace is not a fleeting emotion or a temporary mood. It is a new default operating system for your life. It is a fundamental shift in your relationship with the universe, from adversarial to collaborative, from separate to deeply connected. The core feeling of this state is one of being held. You feel supported by an unseen intelligence, guided by a benevolent force that is constantly arranging circumstances in your favor. The constant, Low-level anxiety that once hummed beneath the surface of your life is replaced by a deep and abiding sense of peace. A quiet knowing that all is well, and all will be well. You no longer feel like a solitary orphan struggling for survival in a hostile world. You feel like a cherished child of the universe, safe and secure in your own home. As this becomes your baseline state, you will notice distinct changes in how your life unfolds. The synchronicities we spoke of earlier cease to be rare and startling events. They become your normal mode of communication with the cosmos. Life transforms into a delightful treasure hunt, a constant stream of meaningful signs, encounters, and information guiding you effortlessly along your path. You'll think, I need to learn about marketing. And the next day, an old friend with 2 decades of marketing experience will call you out of the blue. You'll feel a strange urge to take a different route home, only to avoid a major traffic jam. This seamless flow of information and guidance becomes your new normal. You are living in a responsive, intelligent world that is actively conspiring in your favor. One of the most remarkable characteristics of living in grace is that solutions often appear before you are even consciously aware of the problem. You will be prompted to acquire a new skill, and 6 months later, an incredible opportunity will arise for which that skill is the primary requirement. You'll find an article about a specific topic, and a week later, a friend will come to you with a crisis that the article gives you the perfect wisdom to address. The universe, in its infinite intelligence, is always several steps ahead of you. When you are living in grace, you are in such close alignment with this intelligence that it prepaves your path. It removes obstacles you never even knew were there and provides you with the resources for challenges you have not yet encountered. The frantic, problem-solving mind can finally relax because it knows a higher wisdom is at the helm. Action, of course, still happens in a life of grace, but it feels completely different. It is no longer the strained, forced striving born of fear and lack. Instead, your actions arise spontaneously from a place of genuine inspiration and joy. It feels less like work and more like play. An idea will bubble up from within you with such energy and clarity that you cannot wait to bring it to life. The necessary steps appear not as a daunting to-do list, but as an exciting, creative unfolding. You are no longer pushing the river. You are simply directing its powerful flow. This is the state of wu-wei, of effortless action, where your personal will and the will of the universe are so perfectly aligned that they move as one. It is essential to understand that this state of grace is not a prize awarded randomly to a select, lucky few. It is the natural and inevitable consequence of the profound inner work you have undertaken throughout this entire journey. It is a matter of spiritual physics. You have arrived here because you stopped building the great wall of resistance. You stepped back from the drama of your mind and identified with the calm, a spacious observer. You learned to consciously manage your emotional frequency, broadcasting a signal of peace and abundance. You dared to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You courageously rewrote the limiting scripts of your subconscious mind. You turned and embraced your shadow, becoming whole and integrated. You mastered the art of giving to receive, and you surrendered the desperate outer will to the serene power of the inner will. Grace is the harvest grown from all of these seeds. It is the life that manifests when your inner state is one of coherence, peace, and alignment. You can begin to amplify this state in your life right now by becoming a grace detective. Look back upon your own life. You will surely find moments, perhaps fleeting, where you were in this state. A time when everything just fell into place perfectly. When you met the right person at the exact right time. When a solution appeared as if by magic. These were not flukes. These were moments when, perhaps unconsciously, you were in a state of alignment. Acknowledge these moments. Relive them in your memory. Feel the gratitude for them by giving your attention and appreciation to the grace you have already experienced. You amplify that frequency in your present moment, inviting more of it into your life. Imagine a traveler who has spent years climbing a steep, treacherous mountain. Every step is a struggle over sharp rocks and loose gravel. His muscles ash. He is covered in sweat and dust, and his gaze is fixed only on the difficult ground before him. Convinced this is the only path to the summit, one day, utterly exhausted, he stumbles and collapses. As he lies on the ground, catching his breath, he happens to glance to his left, and there, running parallel to his own tortuous path, just a few feet away, is a smooth, wide, grassy lane, winding gently and beautifully up the very same mountain. It is shaded by trees and dotted with wildflowers. It has been there all along. His suffering was never a requirement of the journey. It was simply the result of where he had placed his attention. The path of struggle and the path of grace are always available to us in every moment. By doing this inner work, you have learned how to lift your gaze from the rocks of resistance and step onto the soft, green path of grace. This state is your birthright. It is the natural way of being for a soul that is in harmony with the cosmos. It is a life of ease, flow, serendipity, and profound peace. Yet, even from within this state of grace, specific desires and intentions will still arise. And when they do, there is a final, ultimate action to be taken. An action that consolidates all that you have learned into a single, potent state of being. It is the key to manifesting with the quiet confidence of a master. We have traveled a great distance together. A journey not across miles, but across dimensions of consciousness. We began in the land of struggle, pushing against the great wall of resistance. Convinced that our effort was the measure of our worth, we journeyed through the liberating silence of sacred emptiness, where we discovered that power lies not in doing, but in allowing. It was there, in the stillness, that we met our true self. The calm, unshakable observer. The sky that is never harmed by the passing clouds of thought and emotion. From that stable foundation, we learned the native language of the cosmos, the language of frequency, and understood that our emotions are not random reactions but powerful broadcasts that shape our world. We were handed the master key, the secret of feeling, learning to embody the state of the wish fulfilled as if it were already a memory. We became the conscious programmers of our own minds, rewriting the subconscious scripts of lack and limitation. We bravely descended into our own darkness to embrace the shadow, returning with the lost gold of our wholeness. We activated the law of reversibility, realizing that to receive, we must first give. We learned to read the magical language of synchronicity, the loving winks from the universe confirming we were on the right path. We found peace in the sacred patience of the divine lag time, and learned to surf the very waves of reality, choosing our destination instead of fighting our circumstances. And we finally understood the profound difference between the frantic, powerless, outer will of the ego and the serene, omnipotent inner will of the soul, which led us into the promised land, the state of grace. And now, we arrive at the final revelation. We come to the central promise of our entire journey together. When all the struggle has failed, when the pushing has led only to exhaustion, when absolutely nothing works, you were told to do this. For hours, you have listened. You have learned. You have absorbed techniques and philosophies, but the ultimate secret is not another technique. It is not another thing to do. The great paradox is that the final action is the cessation of all external, needy action. The this you have been waiting for is a fundamental shift in your entire orientation to reality. It is the shift from a human doing to a human being. The ultimate action is the state of conscious being. Conscious being is the synthesis of our entire journey, the seamless integration of all the principles we have explored, lived not as a series of steps, but as a new, natural, and permanent identity. It is the final destination, which is to realize you were already there. Let us define this ultimate state. First, its foundation is the unwavering identity as the observer. You know, without a doubt, that you are the spacious awareness in which all experience happens. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. Therefore, you are untouchable, unshakable, and eternally at peace. You watch the drama of life unfold with a calm, benevolent detachment, knowing your true self is never at risk. Second, from this foundation of stillness, you consciously manage your frequency. You understand that your emotional state is your constant prayer. You're broadcast to the resonant field of the universe. In the state of conscious being, you no longer allow your emotions to be dictated by external events. You are the master of your inner kingdom. You deliberately and consistently choose to cultivate the emotional frequencies that match your desired reality, the frequencies of love, joy, security, peace, and gratitude. This becomes your dominant energetic signature, your natural resting state. Third, your mental reality is one of living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. You are no longer hoping for your desire, or even believing it will come. You have moved beyond hope and belief into the calm certainty of knowing. It is done, in your mind. You think from your fulfilled desire, not of it. Your inner conversations, your daydreams, your idle thoughts all stem from the premise that you are already the person you wish to be, living the life you wish to live. This is not a frantic effort, but a calm, natural inhabiting of your new identity. Finally, your attitude is one of supreme trust and radical detachment. You have so completely surrendered the outer will that you have no anxiety about the how or the when. You have planted the seed in the fertile soil of the subconscious. And you know the law of growth is absolute. You trust the lag time as a sacred gift. You trust divine timing as perfect intelligence. You are at peace with not knowing the details, because you are so secure in the knowing of the end result, conscious being. Therefore, is the harmonious fusion of these four elements being the observer, broadcasting a chosen frequency, living in the assumption, and embodying total detachment. It is the state where what you are doing on the inside is more real, more important, and more powerful than anything you see on the outside. When you achieve this state, when you truly become this new person at the level of their very being, the universe has no choice but to conform to your new reality. It is law. It is the law of correspondence. As within, so without. The world you see is but a mirror, and a mirror can do nothing but reflect the face that is before it. When you change your face, the reflection must change. This is the true meaning behind the promise that the universe will bend to your will. It is not that some external, separate deity is subjugated by your ego's demands. It is that your will and the will of the universe have become one. You have aligned yourself so perfectly with the creative principles of love, expansion, and flow that your personal desires become the unique channel through which the universe experiences its own creative power. You are not bending the universe against its nature. You are bending with its nature, and it joyfully yields to your co-creative dance. Imagine, one last time, a thick bar of steel. This steel represents your hard, stubborn, and unchangeable reality. You can take a sledgehammer, the tool of your outer will, and you can strike that steel with all your might. You can sweat. You can struggle. You can exhaust yourself completely. And all you will accomplish is to create a lot of noise and perhaps a few insignificant dents. The steel remains, for all intents and purposes, unchanged. This is the state where nothing works. But a master blacksmith knows the secret. He does not waste his energy fighting the steel's nature. Instead, he applies heat. He changes the steel's inner state. He places it in the fire until it glows red hot, until its internal structure is softened and malleable. This fire is your conscious being, your focused, feeling state of the wish fulfilled. When the steel is in this new state, the blacksmith can take a small hammer and, with a few gentle, precise taps, bend it effortlessly into any shape he chooses. The steel yields not to force, but to the change in its own nature. This is the ultimate action. This is what you do when nothing works. You stop striking the cold steel of your reality. You turn your attention inward, and you begin to apply the heat of your own focused consciousness. You become the fire that changes the inner state of your world. And when you have held that fire long enough, when you are glowing with the unwavering conviction of your new reality, you will find that the hard circumstances of your life have become soft and pliable, ready to bend, shape, and rearrange themselves effortlessly to match the magnificent vision you have perfected within. This is not a trick. It is a transformation. It is not what you do, but who you become. You have reached the pinnacle of understanding. You have absorbed the final, ultimate action, the shift into conscious being, where you are no longer a victim of reality, but the serene, powerful sovereign of your inner state. You have learned to be the fire that softens the hard steel of circumstance. But here, at the very precipice of mastery, lies the most subtle, the most paradoxical, and for many, the most challenging art of all. It is the final turn of the key in the lock. You have learned how to hold your desire with passionate intensity in your imagination. But now you must learn the corresponding art of releasing it with cool indifference into the world. This is the tightrope walk of creation. This is the great and profound paradox of detachment. This paradox can be understood as a two-phase process, a sacred rhythm of hot and cold, of engagement and release. The first phase is hot, passionate, and focused. This is the work you do in private, in the temple of your own mind. This is your S-A-T-S practice, your visualization, your scripting. In these moments, you must desire your outcome with every fiber of your being. You must summon all the feeling, all the sensory vividness you can muster. You must be utterly consumed by the reality of your wish fulfilled. This is the act of heating the steel, of impressing the subconscious mind with a clear and powerful command. This phase requires intense, focused engagement. You are the passionate artist, meticulously crafting your masterpiece in the studio of your imagination. But then, and this is the secret that eludes so many, the moment the imaginal act is complete, the moment you have felt it real and brought yourself to the point of mental satisfaction, you must enter the second phase. This phase is cool, expansive, and free. You must drop it. You must completely and totally let it go. You must release your desire to the universe with the same casual confidence you have after placing an order online. You do not worry about the logistics of the warehouse or the route of the delivery truck. You simply know you have placed the order and it is on its way. You must cultivate this same cool, indifferent trust toward your manifestation. Once the artwork is finished in the studio, you do not follow the delivery truck. Wringing your hands, you release it to the world and begin your next creation. You must oscillate between these two states: the fiery passion of the inner imaginal act and the cool peace of outer world detachment. Why is this release so absolutely critical? Because the energy of attachment is the very same energy as doubt. Attachment is the frantic, needy, controlling energy that constantly checks for results. It is the voice that whispers, "Is it working? When is it going to get here? What if I did it wrong?" This needy, anxious energy is a powerful broadcast to the universe, and its message is one of profound disbelief. By constantly worrying about your desire, you are screaming to the cosmos, "I don't really believe this is going to happen, so I have to keep my grip on it. I don't trust the process." This energy of attachment is a manifestation of the outer will. It is a declaration that you believe you are separate from the creative power of the universe and must therefore micromanage its every move. This creates a powerful excess potential, an energetic storm of resistance that effectively pushes your desire further away from you. The universe cannot deliver your package to a clenched, grasping fist. Furthermore, we often become attached not just to the outcome, but to the specific form and timing of its arrival. We decide it must happen by a certain date, or through a certain person, or in a certain way. This is like telling the infinite intelligence of the universe that you, with your limited perspective, I know the single best path out of a trillion possible pathways. This attachment to the how and when blocks all the other creative avenues through which your good could come to you. You may be praying for money to come through a promotion at work, while the universe is trying to deliver it through an unexpected inheritance or a winning lottery ticket. But your rigid focus on the one path blinds you to all others. Detachment is the act of letting go of the how, so the universe can deliver your what in the most surprising, magical, and efficient way possible. It is vital to distinguish true detachment from its pale cousin, apathy. Apathy is a low-frequency state of giving up. It says, I don't really care because I don't believe it's possible anyway. It is rooted in hopelessness. True detachment, however, is one of the highest frequency states you can achieve. It is a state of profound trust and peace. Detachment says, I am so completely certain that my desire is a finished fact in the spiritual realm, that I no longer need to worry or think about it. It is done. Detachment is not the absence of desire. It is the absence of anxiety. It is the calm, serene confidence of the master who knows the laws of creation are absolute and unwavering. When you have truly and successfully convinced your subconscious mind that your desire is real, detachment is the natural, automatic result. You no longer worry about whether the sun will rise tomorrow, because its rising is an established, unquestionable fact of your reality. Your goal is to make your desire just as much of a settled fact in your inner world. So how can we practice this art of release? One simple but powerful technique is a ritual of handing it over. After you have completed your imaginal act, after you have marinated in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, take a moment to visualize your desire as a beautiful, glowing orb of light in your hands. Feel its reality, its perfection. Then, in your mind's eye, see the hands of the universe, or God, or your higher self reaching down to you. Consciously place your orb of desire into these loving, powerful hands. As you release it, say to yourself, this is now yours to bring into my world. Your wisdom is infinite. Your ways are perfect. I trust you completely. My work is done. And then, turn and walk away. Take your mental hands off of it. Deliberately shift your focus to something in the present moment. The feeling of your breath, the sound of the birds outside, the task in front of you. You have delegated the job to the ultimate manager. Imagine a small child in a sun-drenched garden who desperately wants to catch a magnificent butterfly. He sees it and immediately gives chase, running wildly, his fists clenched, lunging and grabbing at the air. His frantic, needy energy is a whirlwind that buffets the delicate creature, scaring it and driving it further and further away. The more he chases, the more it eludes him. Finally, exhausted and heartbroken, the child gives up. He collapses into the soft grass, forgets entirely about the butterfly, and becomes captivated by a tiny ladybug crawling on a blade of grass. He is still. He is present. He is at peace. His hand lies open and relaxed at his side, and in that moment of complete non-attachment, the magnificent butterfly, no longer threatened, circles down from the sky and gently, softly, alights on his open, waiting palm. Your desires are this butterfly. Your attachment is the frantic chase that scares them away. Your detachment is the quiet, peaceful stillness that invites them to land. You must learn to open your hand, a clenched fist, symbolizing control and fear. cannot receive, only an open hand, symbolizing release and trust, can be filled. The paradox of detachment is the final, graceful bow in the creative dance. It is the ultimate expression of faith, the serene confidence that what you have created on the inside is so real and so certain, that you can afford to be at peace in the outside world while you wait for it to appear. This supreme state of trust is made effortless when it is powered by one of the most potent and beautiful frequencies in the entire universe. It is the frequency that simultaneously acknowledges the gift and guarantees its arrival. It is the divine magic of gratitude. In the silent, sacred space of detachment, where you have released your desire to the universe with perfect trust, a new energy begins to blossom. It is the warmth that follows the cool peace of letting go. It is the golden thread that weaves faith into an unshakable knowing. This energy, this frequency, is the most powerful catalyst and accelerator in the entire cosmos. It is the master key that unlocks every door, the magic wand that turns dust to diamonds, and the secret language of miracles. It is the profound and creative force of gratitude. For most of your life, you have understood gratitude in reverse. You have treated it as a polite response, a thank you that you say after you have received a gift. Something good happens, you get the job. You receive a compliment. The sun comes out, and in response, you feel a flicker of gratitude. In this model, gratitude is the effect, and the external event is the cause. You are passively waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel good. This is the paradigm of the unconscious creator. But now, you are ready to flip this equation on its head and wield gratitude as the masters do. You are ready to learn that gratitude is not the response. It is the cause. It is not the celebration after the victory. It is the very force that wins the war. The ultimate secret is this: you must feel grateful before the gift arrives. To understand why this is so potent, we must return to the language of the universe, the language of frequency. Every emotional state broadcasts a specific signal. The state of wanting broadcasts the frequency of lack. The state of hoping broadcasts the frequency of uncertainty. But the state of gratitude broadcasts the clearest, most powerful, and most definitive frequency of all. The frequency of it is already here. Gratitude is the energetic signature of a prayer that has already been answered. When you feel genuine gratitude for something, you are emotionally and vibrationally aligning yourself with the reality in which you already possess it. You are collapsing the time and space between you and your desire. You are pulling your future dream into your present moment. And the present moment is the only place where creation ever happens. Think of it this way. When you are tuned to the frequency of "I hope I get it," the universe, which is a perfect mirror, reflects back to you a reality filled with hoping. But when you tune yourself to the frequency of "Thank you, I have received it," the universe must reflect back to you the experience of having received. Gratitude is the ultimate statement of faith. It is telling the universe, "I trust you so completely. I know the law is so absolute that I am going to thank you for my desire now, even though my five senses cannot yet perceive it." This act of preemptive gratitude is a command. It is a declaration that the deed is done. It closes the chapter on wanting and opens the book of having. It is the final seal on your imaginal act, the amen at the end of your prayer. This practice transforms the difficult art of detachment into an effortless act of joy. How do you let go of worry and anxiety about your desire? You replace it with gratitude. Every time a thought of doubt or fear about your manifestation arises, you must learn to use it as a trigger. Let that doubt be your alarm bell, reminding you to immediately shift into gratitude. If you worry about money, stop, take a breath, and say, "I am so deeply grateful for the infinite abundance that is flowing into my life right now." If you feel a pang of loneliness, shift and say, "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the perfect, loving relationship that has so beautifully entered my life." You are using gratitude as an alchemical tool to transmute the lead of fear into the gold of faith. This is not a practice reserved for grand desires. It is a new way of life, woven into the fabric of your every moment. And it begins with the small things. You must become a hunter for gratitude. One of the most powerful ways to begin this is with a gratitude rampage. Upon waking, before your mind can latch onto the problems of the day, begin to list things you are grateful for. Start with the obvious. I am so grateful I woke up today. I am so grateful for the air I am breathing. I am so grateful for the comfort of this bed. I am so grateful for the roof over my head. Then, let the momentum build. I am grateful for the taste of this coffee. I am grateful for the sound of the birds outside. I am grateful for the technology that allows me to connect with others. The more you focus on what you have, the more your energy rises, and the more you will find to be grateful for. You are deliberately tuning your instrument to the highest frequency in the orchestra. A simple but profound tool to carry this practice through your day is the gratitude rock, a concept beautifully articulated by Rhonda Byrne in The Magic. Find a small, smooth stone, one that fits comfortably in your palm. Place it in your pocket. Let this rock be your silent, secret reminder. Every time your hand touches it throughout the day, let it be your cue to pause and to think of at least one thing you are genuinely grateful for in that moment. This simple act anchors you in the present, pulls you out of the whirlpool of anxious thought, and repeatedly, consistently, tunes your frequency to that of grace and receivership. As you become fluent in this practice, you can move to the most advanced level, giving thanks for that which has not yet physically manifested, as if it already has. In your journal, you can begin to write, I am so deeply grateful for the healing energy that has completely restored my body to perfect health. I am so grateful for the incredible success of my creative project and the joy it is bringing to so many people. I am so grateful for the peace and harmony that fills my home and my relationships. You are writing the thank you note for a gift that is already yours in the spiritual realm, a gift that is currently traveling to you through the bridge of incidents. This act fuses the power of scripting with the power of gratitude, creating an almost unstoppable creative force. Imagine a woman who has lost everything. She finds herself in a place of deep despair, believing she has nothing left. A wise teacher advises her to find 100 things to be grateful for each day. She scoffs. Grateful for what? This misery. But, having no other options, she begins. Her first list is a struggle. I am grateful for the one pair of shoes I own. I am grateful for the sandwich a stranger gave me. It feels forced, but she persists. Day after day, she hunts for things: the warmth of the sun, a child's laugh, a song on the radio. Slowly, imperceptibly at first, her energy begins to shift. She is no longer broadcasting the frequency of despair, but the fledgling frequency of appreciation. And then, small good things begin to happen. Someone offers her a temporary job. She finds a $20 bill on the street. She expresses deep gratitude for these small miracles. As she does, the momentum builds. The small job becomes a permanent position. The $20 multiplies. Months later, she looks back and realizes her life has been completely, miraculously transformed. Her gratitude did not follow her success. Her success followed her gratitude. This is the creative magic you hold in your heart. Gratitude is the ultimate state of allowing, the frequency that tells the universe you are open, ready, and worthy to receive. It is the feeling of faith made tangible. It is the fertile soil in which all your seeds of desire can finally sprout and grow. This potent frequency of gratitude is not just a pleasant psychological state. It is a powerful command sent into the very fabric of reality. To understand how this simple feeling can rearrange the stars in your favor, we must now journey into the heart of creation itself. We must learn how to consciously tap into the quantum field, the infinite ocean of all possibility. You have learned to ride the currents of reality with the gentle grace of a surfer, and to trust the sacred timing of the cosmos. You have mastered the art of detachment, and you have discovered the universe-altering power of gratitude. Now, and we must ask the question, where do these powerful frequencies of gratitude, trust, and love go? What is this invisible substance upon which our feelings and thoughts act? To fully grasp the magnitude of your creative power, we must journey together to the very heart of reality, to the engine room of creation itself. We must learn how to consciously connect with and impress the infinite, intelligent energy field from which all things are born. This is the quantum field. Scientists and mystics, though using different languages, have been pointing to the same truth for centuries. They speak of a divine matrix, the mind of God, the aether, or a unified field. The language of quantum physics gives us a modern framework for this ancient wisdom. It tells us that beneath the surface of our seemingly solid world lies an invisible, interconnected field of energy and information that is the source of everything. This quantum field is not empty space. It is a plenum, a fullness. It is a vast, silent, and infinite ocean of pure potential. Every possible reality you can imagine, every invention, every cure, every work of art, every possible version of your life already exists as a dormant energetic wave, a silent probability. Within this field, it is the womb of all creation, pregnant with infinite possibility, waiting for a conscious observer to give it direction. This field is the great unifier. It is the invisible energy that connects you to everything and everyone. The space between you and the stars. The space between your hand and the book it holds. The very space within the atoms of your own body is not empty. It is brimming with this intelligent potential. This understanding dissolves the great illusion of separation that has been the source of so much human suffering. You are not a small, separate being, pleading with a distant and separate God or universe. You are an inseparable part of this field. You are a focal point of consciousness within it, and you have the innate ability to interact with it, to influence it, and to call forth realities from its infinite depths. You are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, experiencing itself in a single drop. So how do we communicate with this intelligent field? How do we select a single possibility from the infinite menu and bring it into our physical world? We do so using the two most powerful tools we possess: our thoughts and our emotions. Modern science, particularly the work of researchers like Dr. Joe Dispenza, has given us a powerful model for understanding this process. Our focused thoughts and clear intentions act as an electric charge that we send out into the field. A thought is a signal. When you hold a clear, focused picture in your mind of what you want: a new career, a healthy body, a loving relationship, you are selecting a specific potential wave from the infinite ocean. You are sending a blueprint, a precise set of instructions, into the field. This is what you want to create. But a blueprint alone is not enough. A blueprint sitting on a desk will never build a house. It needs energy. It needs a construction crew. In the quantum world, the energy, the power, the magnetic charge that draws the reality to you is your emotion. Specifically, it is your elevated emotions, feelings of love, joy, appreciation, and gratitude generate a powerful magnetic field that radiates from your heart. This magnetic charge is what draws the experience to you. It is the energetic signature that tells the universe you are a vibrational match for the reality you have selected with your thoughts. Thought sends the signal out, and emotion draws the result back. Therefore, to create effectively, you must combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion. A scattered thought combined with a weak or negative emotion creates a weak, incoherent electromagnetic signal that the universe cannot read. It's like a radio broadcast filled with static, but when you marry a clear, focused thought of your future with the powerful, Elevated emotion of gratitude or joy, as if it has already happened. You create a coherent, powerful electromagnetic signature that the quantum field cannot ignore. This is the command that collapses waves of possibility into the particles and experiences of your physical world. You are no longer just hoping or wishing. You are broadcasting a clear and unambiguous order for a new reality. Imagine you have been given a universal, vibrational catalog. You can flip through its infinite pages with your imagination and choose anything you desire. Your clear intention is the act of pointing to a specific item and saying, "I choose this one." But to place the order, you must provide payment. The currency of the universe is not money. It is feeling. The elevated emotion of gratitude is your payment in advance. By feeling the joy and thankfulness of already possessing your desire, you are submitting the order and signaling to the universe, "Ship this to me now." Once the order is placed, you do not need to keep placing it. You trust the delivery system, the divine lag time, to bring it to you. You can practice connecting with this field directly through a simple meditation. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and begin to focus on your breath. Now, become aware not of the objects around you, but of the space. Become aware of the vastness of space in the room, the space between your body and the walls. Then, bring your awareness to the space within your own body, the space between your cells, the space within your atoms. Realize that this is not emptiness. It is fullness. It is the quantum field. Now, begin to let go of your identity. Let go of your name, your past, your problems, your timeline. Become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and in no time, dissolve into a state of pure, formless awareness. In this state of pure potential, you are one with the infinite potential of the field. From here, do not think about what you want. Instead, simply evoke an elevated emotion. Feel pure gratitude for being alive. Feel pure joy for no reason at all. Let this feeling fill the vastness of your awareness. You are now tuning your very being to the highest frequencies of creation. Once you are stable in this feeling, you can gently and calmly introduce your intention, not as a desperate plea, but as a quiet knowing, a command from a place of wholeness. Then, release it, and simply rest in the feeling of oneness with all that is. This is your true nature. You are a conscious creator, swimming in an ocean of infinite possibility. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the artist painting upon the canvas of the quantum field. The colors on your palette are your emotions. The brushes are your thoughts. To wield this incredible power effectively, to become a master creator who paints beautiful realities, requires a new level of discipline. You cannot send clear, powerful signals into the field if your mind is a constant storm of negativity, complaint, and fear. It is now time to learn the art of mental hygiene, the crucial practice of consciously choosing what you allow to occupy your mind. It is time to go on a mental diet. You stand now as a conscious creator at the threshold of the quantum field, aware that your every thought and feeling is a powerful command sent into the fabric of reality. You understand that you are a broadcasting tower, sending a signal that shapes your world. This realization brings with it a profound responsibility. For if every thought is a prayer, what kind of prayers have you been sending? If your consciousness is the paintbrush, what colors have you been dipping it in? To be an effective creator, you cannot broadcast a clear signal of abundance and joy if your mind is a chaotic storm of fear, criticism, and complaint. Therefore, to truly master your creative power, you must first master the environment in which it is born. You must become the vigilant guardian at the gate of your mind. You must undertake the most transformative discipline of all, the power of a mental diet. This is not a New Age fad. It is a rigorous spiritual practice articulated by the great New Thought teacher Emmett Fox. He proposed a simple but monumentally challenging exercise, the 7-day mental diet. The rules are stark and absolute. For 7 consecutive days, you must not allow yourself to dwell on any negative thought or feeling. This includes fear, worry, jealousy, resentment, condemnation of others, and criticism of yourself. It covers any thought of failure, disappointment, or limitation. The goal is not the impossible task of preventing a negative thought from ever appearing. The untrained mind is like a wild animal, and such thoughts will inevitably arise. The discipline lies in what you do when they appear. You are not permitted to entertain them. You must not offer them a seat in your mind. Give them a cup of tea and listen to their stories. The moment you become aware of a negative thought, you must dismiss it and immediately turn your mind to something constructive and positive, preferably to the thought of the divine, of your ideal state of being. The rule that gives this diet its immense power is this: if you break it, if you find yourself indulging in a negative thought stream for more than a minute or so, you must stop and start the 7 days all over again from the beginning. Many people find they cannot get past a single day, or even a few hours, without breaking the diet. This is not a sign of failure. It is a shocking diagnosis of how deeply conditioned we are to negativity. It reveals how our minds, left to their own devices, are veritable factories of complaint and worry. This diet is a mirror that shows you your current mental habits and a training ground to forge new ones. Why is this so critical? Because every thought is a cause, and every condition is an effect. Your mental and emotional state is the food you are feeding your soul, and the reality you experience is a direct reflection of the nutrition you provided. Negative thoughts are the junk food of the spirit. A single complaint is like a single greasy potato chip, seemingly harmless, but a constant habit of complaining, criticizing, and worrying is like living on a diet of nothing but sugar and saturated fat. It pollutes your energetic system. It lowers your frequency. It makes you spiritually sluggish and sick. Every time you complain about your lack of money, you are placing a fervent prayer for more lack. Every time you worry about your health, you are holding a focused meditation on sickness. Every time you criticize another person, you are sending out a boomerang of judgmental energy that must, by law, return to you. These seemingly small negative thoughts accumulate to create a thick, gray smog in your energy field, blocking the light of the universe and preventing your desires from finding a clear path to you. Maintaining a clean mental diet requires a conscious and vigilant strategy. First, you must control your consumption. You would not eat spoiled food. So why would you consume spoiled information? Be mindful of the media you allow into your awareness. The news is often a fire hose of fear and conflict, designed to trigger your most primal anxieties. Social media can be a breeding ground for comparison and jealousy. Choose, as an act of spiritual hygiene, to limit your exposure to these sources. Instead, consciously feed your mind with things that uplift and inspire you: beautiful music, insightful books, conversations with positive people, and time in nature. Second, you must abstain from the toxic social habits of gossip and complaint. These are often used as a form of social bonding, a way to find common ground by agreeing on what is wrong with the world or with other people. You must recognize this for the poison it is. When a conversation turns to gossip or complaint, you have a choice. You can politely excuse yourself. You can gently change the subject. Or you can simply remain silent, refusing to add your energy to the toxic brew. Do not participate in the pollution of the collective consciousness. Your silence can be a more powerful statement than any argument. Third, you need an immediate technique for handling the negative thoughts that arise from within. A simple and effective method is to cancel, clear, and replace. The moment you catch yourself dwelling on a negative thought, for example, "I'll never be able to do this," you mentally shout. Cancel to interrupt the pattern. You then visualize the thought dissolving or being deleted. This is the clear. Finally, you immediately replace it with its positive opposite. A constructive thought that aligns with your desired reality. I am fully capable, and I am in the process of mastering this skill. This is not about lying to yourself. It is about refusing to give power to a limiting belief and consciously choosing to empower a new, more expansive one. It is a mental reflex that, through repetition, becomes a powerful habit. Do not be discouraged by how difficult this is at first. The untrained mind is like an unruly puppy that has been allowed to run wild for years. Training it requires patience, consistency, and loving firmness. This mental diet is your spiritual gymnasium. Every time you successfully dismiss a negative thought, you have just completed one repetition, strengthening the muscle of your focus and your will. Each day you stay on the diet, your spiritual muscles grow stronger. Your mind, which was once your master, gradually becomes your servant. This is the deeper meaning behind the timeless Cherokee parable of the two wolves. An elder tells his grandson that a terrible fight is going on inside of him. A fight between two wolves. One wolf is darkness and despair. He is fear, anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, and arrogance. The other wolf is light and joy. He is peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, and faith. The grandson thinks for a minute and then asks his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replies, "The one you feed." Your mental diet is the conscious, moment-by-moment act of choosing which wolf to feed. Every negative thought you entertain is a piece of meat you throw to the wolf of fear. Every positive thought you cultivate is a feast you provide for the wolf of faith. The choice is yours in every second. This diet is not a punishment. It is the ultimate act of self-love. It is the rigorous, necessary discipline required to purify your creative instrument, to ensure that the signal you are broadcasting into the quantum field is clear, pure, powerful, and in perfect harmony with the magnificent reality you wish to create. And once you have purified the stream of your thoughts, you will discover that this newfound clarity seeks a voice. You are now ready to learn how to imbue your very words with creative power. For your spoken word is, and has always been, your magic wand. Having disciplined your mind and purified the silent stream of your thoughts, you arrive at the threshold of expression. For a thought held in the mind is a potential, but a thought joined with the power of the spoken word becomes a force in the world. It is an incantation. It is a command that ripples through the quantum field, organizing energy and instructing reality. Your voice is not merely a tool for communication. It is an instrument of creation. Your words are not just sounds. They are spells. In fact, the very word spelling hints at this ancient truth. To spell a word is to cast a spell. Every sentence you utter is a decree issued into the kingdom of your life. It is time now to claim your sovereignty, to pick up your royal scepter, and to learn how to use your spoken word as the magic wand it has always been. The masters of New Thought, particularly the brilliant Florence Scovel Shinn, taught that life is a game, and it is a game played with words. Our words, she explained, are imbued with a specific vibrational frequency. Just as a musical note can create beautiful, geometric patterns in sand, a phenomenon known as cymatics, your spoken words create patterns in the invisible energy field around you. They are vocalized vibrations that give form to the formless. When you speak with fear and doubt, you create chaotic and dissonant patterns. When you speak with faith and authority, you create harmonious and beautiful patterns. The universe does not judge your words as good or bad. It simply responds to the vibrational pattern you are emitting. This is why it is time to move beyond simple affirmations and into the realm of the powerful decree. An affirmation is often a statement of hope, something you wish were true. A decree, however, is a statement of authority. It is a declaration of what is true, spoken from your highest self, your I am presence. When you issue a decree, you are not asking or hoping, you are commanding. You are aligning yourself with universal law and stating a spiritual fact that the material world must then rush to obey. To craft a powerful decree, there are simple but unbreakable rules. First, you must speak in the present tense. The subconscious mind and the quantum field have no concept of the future. The future is an abstraction. Creation happens only in the eternal now. To say, I will be abundant is to forever keep abundance at arm's length. Always in the future, you must claim your good now. You must decree, I am abundant. I have everything I need. This present tense declaration is a command for reality to conform to your statement now. Second, you must use the most powerful creative words in existence, I am. These two words are a direct link to the divine creative power within you. Whatever you attach to I am becomes your truth. For years, you have unconsciously been saying, I am tired. I am broke. I am unlucky. And your faithful servant, the universe, has worked tirelessly to bring you experiences that match your declaration. Now, you must consciously seize this power. You must begin to declare. With feeling and conviction, I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I am the radiant child of the universe, and all that the universe has is mine. Third, your words must be charged with the battery of emotion. Words spoken mechanically are like an unlit firecracker. The potential is there, but there is no spark. The feeling of conviction, of faith, of gratitude is the spark that ignites the word and sends its power out into the world. You do not need to shout your decrees. You must speak them with a quiet, calm, unshakable certainty. The same authority with which a just king would issue a decree to his court. Let us arm you now with some powerful decrees. Inspired by the great masters of the word, when you feel lost or uncertain, declare, the divine plan of my life now unfolds. I am in my perfect place, doing my perfect work. For my perfect pay, my world is filled with peace, harmony, and divine order. When you are facing a challenge, declare I am divinely inspired and protected. Every obstacle now dissolves in the light of my faith. The path is clear and my success is assured. To manifest your supply, declare I give thanks for my immediate and endless supply. The universe is my unfailing provider, and I am now drawing to myself everything I could possibly desire or require. Speak these words. Write them down. Say them in the mirror. Let them become the new soundtrack of your life. Just as you have gone on a mental diet, you must now go on a verbal diet. You must become acutely aware of the unconscious curses you have been casting upon yourself for years. Chief among these are the phrases I always and I never. These are hypnotic, self-fulfilling prophecies. I always get sick this time of year. This is a command to your subconscious to lower your immune system. I can never seem to get ahead. This is a decree that builds a wall between you and your success. I'm always so forgetful. This is an instruction to your mind to misplace your keys. You must banish these phrases from your vocabulary. The universe is a literal-minded genie, and it takes these casual complaints as serious commands. Furthermore, you must stop performing black magic on yourself through self-criticism and so-called humble self-deprecation. Every time you say, I'm so stupid, you are casting a spell of confusion. Every time you joke, I'm such a mess, you are decreeing chaos into your life. Every time you look in the mirror and say, I hate my body, you are commanding your very selves to be unhealthy. You would never dare speak such curses upon a beloved friend or a small child. You must now grant yourself the same sacred respect. Vow to speak only words of life, health, abundance, and love over yourself and your circumstances. Imagine you are the king or queen of a vast and powerful kingdom. And this kingdom is your life. Your subconscious mind and the creative forces of the universe are your perfectly loyal and obedient servants. They have only one desire: to carry out your royal will. They do not question your commands. They simply execute them with perfect precision. For years, you have been walking around your court, muttering, "This kingdom is in such a poor state. The coffers are empty. The castle is crumbling." And your servants, hearing their sovereign, have rushed to make it so, believing they were being faithful to your command. You have been decreeing lack, and they have diligently created it for you. But today, you stop, you straighten your back. You pick up your scepter of authority, which is your voice, and you ascend to your throne. From this place of power, you issue a new royal decree. You speak with calm authority. Let it be known throughout my kingdom, from this day forward, that we are a kingdom of infinite abundance, radiant health, and perfect, divine order. Let prosperity flow into our coffers. Let joy and laughter ring through the halls. Let love be the law of this land. So I have decreed, and so it is. Hearing this new, clear, and powerful command, your servants rejoice. They finally have a worthy vision to work toward. And with immense energy and joy, they rush to transform the kingdom to match your newly spoken word. This is your power. This is your birthright. You are the sovereign of your reality. Your thoughts are your advisors. But your spoken word is the law. Take your throne. Speak with the authority of who you truly are. Stop describing the world as it is, and start decreeing it as you desire it to be. You have now purified your thoughts, and you have learned to direct them with power through your voice. You have assembled all the tools of a master creator. Let us now, in our final step of this great teaching, synthesize this entire journey and understand the ultimate state of being that these tools allow us to inhabit. Part 2. 20. The Great Integration, a symphony of awakened living. We have reached the final stage of our great teaching. The view from the summit of the mountain we have climbed together. Look back for a moment, not at the effort of the climb, but at the breathtaking panorama of the path you have forged. See the journey not as a series of disconnected lessons, but as the deliberate, step-by-step assembling of your own divine mastery. You came to this place a warrior, believing you had to break down a wall of circumstance with the battering ram of your will. You have since learned to become the water that flows around any obstacle, and the fire that reshapes reality from within. You came believing you were the storm of your thoughts and emotions, and you have awakened to the profound truth that you are, and have always been, the silent, spacious, and untouchable sky. You arrived, speaking the language of lack and longing. And now you are fluent in the cosmic mother tongue of frequency and feeling. The journey has transformed you from a pawn in the game of life into the grandmaster who directs the pieces with quiet confidence and grace. With this transformation comes a great and liberating realization: the search is over. For years, perhaps decades, you have been a seeker. You have sought the next book, the next guru, the next workshop, the next secret technique that would finally give you the key to a life of peace and power. This seeking is a noble habit, but it is a habit born from the subtle, underlying belief that the answer is out there, somewhere outside of yourself. Today, that search ends. It ends not because you have found the final external secret, but because you have finally unearthed the ultimate internal truth. You are the one you have been looking for. The power was never in a book or a teacher. It was dormant within you, waiting for the light of your own consciousness to awaken it. You now possess the complete, integrated toolkit of a master creator. The instruction manual for your reality is now written upon your own heart. There are no more secrets to find. There is only the magnificent, lifelong art of applying what you now know. So what does this new, integrated life look like? How do these principles weave themselves into the fabric of a normal day? Let us walk through a day in the life of the awakened creator. You awaken in the morning. The old self might have awoken with a jolt of anxiety, the mind immediately latching onto the to-do list and the problems of the day. But the new you awakens with a moment of stillness. You lie in bed and your first act is one of gratitude. You thank the universe for the gift of another day, for the comfort of your bed, for the breath in your lungs. Before your feet even touch the floor, you have set your frequency to that of abundance and appreciation. You go about your morning. And as you do, you issue a quiet but powerful decree. Divine order is the law of my life today. Everything I do will prosper. I am guided, protected, and inspired in all my ways. You have used your spoken word as a wand, casting a spell of grace and success over the hours to come. You eat your breakfast, not with the junk food of a negative news broadcast, but with the nourishment of silence or uplifting music. For you are on a permanent mental diet. Later in the day, a challenge arises, an unexpected bill arrives, or a difficult conversation looms. The old self would have immediately reacted, dropping into the low frequency of fear and resistance. But you, the observer, do not react. You pose. You feel the initial emotional charge arise, but you do not identify with it. You see it as a cloud passing through your sky. You may even look for the gift in the trigger, wondering if this is your shadow, showing you a hidden fear of lack or conflict that is ready to be healed. You then consciously and deliberately choose your response. You do not deny the situation, but you refuse to give it your negative energy. You hold to your inner will, your unshakable commitment to your inner state of peace. You remember the principle of detachment, knowing that your peace is not dependent on this single outcome. You interact with others. Instead of seeing them as competitors or obstacles, you see them as fellow aspects of the universe. You practice the law of reversibility, consciously giving the patience, respect, and kindness that you wish to receive. Your conversations are not filled with complaint or gossip, but with conscious, life-affirming words. You listen with presence. You speak with purpose. In the evening, as the day winds down, you do not endlessly ruminate on its problems or shortcomings. You prepare for sleep as a sacred act. You know that as you drift off, the veil to your subconscious mind is at its thinnest. You lie down and enter the state akin to sleep. Here, in this magical twilight, you practice the art of feeling as the secret. You do not replay the day's struggles. Instead, you imagine your perfect tomorrow. You feel the joy of a successful outcome, the relief of a solved problem, the warmth of a loving encounter. You are not just ending your day. You are consciously programming the quantum field of your tomorrow. You fall asleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, having planted the perfect seeds for the garden you will awaken to. This is the symphony of awakened living. In the beginning of our journey, you were handed each instrument one by one. You learned the flute of stillness, the violin of frequency, the drums of emotion, and the cello of the spoken word. You practiced each one in isolation, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes with great effort. But now, you are no longer just a musician fumbling with a single instrument. Through your practice and integration, you have ascended the podium. You are now the conductor. Your life is the orchestra. And every principle we have discussed is an instrument at your command. In any given moment, you have the wisdom to know which instrument to call upon, how to blend the strings of gratitude with the woodwinds of detachment, how to use the brass of your decrees and the percussion of your actions to create a magnificent, harmonious symphony. Do not let this knowledge remain as mere theory. Do not pack these precious instruments away in their cases to gather dust. Your life is the concert hall, and it is waiting for your music. The world does not need another person who simply knows the notes. It needs you to become the music itself. The masterpiece you have always longed to witness is the one you are here to create. The audience, the universe itself, is seated and waiting in breathless, loving anticipation for the symphony that only you can compose. So take a deep breath, raise your baton, and begin. Here, at the end of our journey together, we arrive not at a destination, but at a new beginning. We have walked a long and transformative path, from the barren lands of resistance and struggle to the fertile plains of allowance and grace. We have traveled inward, dismantling the walls of our own making, quieting the frantic voice of the ego, and awakening to the silent, omnipotent presence of the observer within. You have learned that you are not a victim of a random universe, but a powerful creator, broadcasting a constant signal into a responsive quantum field. A signal composed not of your words or your wants, but of the very essence of your being, your frequency, your feeling. You have discovered that the power to change your world lies not in changing the world itself, but in changing the self that perceives it. If there is one singular truth to take with you from this entire journey, let it be this: the universe does not bend to your will. It mirrors your being. Reality is not a stubborn entity to be conquered. It is a flawless reflection of your own consciousness. For years, you have stood before this mirror, pleading with the reflection to smile, while your own face was contorted in a frown of worry and lack. The secret was never to force the reflection, but to have the courage to change the face you are presenting. The power was never out there to be won. It was in here to be realized. Peace, abundance, and love are not destinations to be reached, but states of being to be embodied. And so, we leave you not with another technique to practice, but with a new identity to inhabit. You are the creator. You are the artist. Your feelings are your paintbrush, and the world is your canvas. Do not be daunted by the scale of this truth. The mastery of your life begins with the mastery of a single, simple moment. It begins with the next conscious breath you take. It begins with the next thought you choose to empower. It begins with the next time you feel a wave of fear and choose, just for a second, to respond with the frequency of trust. This is not a race. It is a graceful unfolding. Be patient and compassionate with yourself as you learn to live from this new center of power. The peace you have been seeking is the silence beneath the noise of your mind. The love you have been craving is the acceptance you can now offer to all parts of yourself. The power you have been searching for is the quiet, unshakable will to choose your own state of being. Everything you need, you already are. Everything you desire, you already possess in the infinite field of potential. Go forth now, not as a seeker, but as a knower. Live, not from a place of hope, but from a place of quiet conviction. And watch, with wonder and delight, as the great mirror of the universe rearranges itself in beautiful and surprising ways to perfectly reflect the magnificent being you have finally chosen to become.